My heart is so lost. You wonder why I seem so cold? Steady searching for something to relieve my soul. Still the same, nothing changed since the days of old. Walking around with a frown as it all unfolds. I've been told I ain't black cause my skin is light, but I'm the realest nigga living, you can't dim my light. It's a shame, it's so lame, we don't feel each other. Can't explain all the pain when we kill each other. You'll kill me and let your AK spray, but you're too scared to say F the KKK. Nigga, you'll kill me and let your AK spray, but you're too scared to say F the KKK. I need to chill for a moment, I really need some time to escape to a place where I can free my mind. You'll never meet another nigga real as me. I'm dying, it's my own kind that's killing me. You niggas dealing with the real, you niggas dealing with the real, come on, you niggas dealing with the real, you niggas dealing with the real. You got my roam alone, with no nigga to watch my back. Bumping MC8, CMW, we come strapped. Living my life like a loner, taught not to fail. Putting cops on the block while they not in jail. To the cops and the killers, you get the middle finger. You in the same gang if you out here killing niggas. Keep your vests on your chest when you hit the streets. But nevertheless, I'm trying to keep the peace. Don't wanna be the first to die, don't be second guessing. Times is hard, asking God, please send us blessings. It's the pain in my eyes you can't understand. Go underhand another man to get the upper hand. Just give me a pen, give me a pad, give me a microphone. Guess it's right around the corner, I'm ready to die alone. Spit a verse cause it hurts, you don't hear my plight. Dark room full of gloom, I shed tears at night. You niggas dealing with the real, you niggas dealing with the real, come on, you niggas dealing with the real, you niggas dealing with the real, come on,
Do you really believe that garbage?
It's not about a believing, it's a matter of fact.
So you believe.
Well, nobody else can make a decision but me because I was the president, and the final decision comes to the president.
You know, it's easy enough for a Monday morning quarterback to say what the coach should have done after the game's over. But when the decision is up before you, and on my desk I have a motto which says the buck stops here, the decision has to be made.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I could say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
President?
Yep.
Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think you've been working out there for 2 or 3 weeks and cast it specifically in national security terms. You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you retired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr.
true, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
And I'm the one who will not raise taxes. My opponent now says he'll raise them as a last resort or a third resort. But when a politician talks like that, you know that's one resort he'll be checking into. And my opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no. And they'll push, and I'll say no. And they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips. No new taxes.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush.
If you're tired and feeling lonely.
Every day, prominent Republicans across the country tell us that Trump was responsible for the attack on the Capitol.
I do think he was responsible. I think the whole idea was to intimidate Congress.
President Trump is responsible for provoking the events of the day.
You said it is clear that President Trump's rhetoric and actions contributed to the insurrection. Do you stand by that statement?
100%.
But sadly, these same Republicans say they will vote for him again.
You're voting for someone who you believe tried to subvert the peaceful transfer of power.
The answer to the question is yes.
Would you support him for president, even though you believe he contributed to an insurrection?
Yeah, me and 51% of America.
I said that I would support President Trump if he were the nominee, and he obviously is going to be the nominee of our party.
These Republicans are suffering from partisan derangement syndrome.
You don't see this as the definition of putting party over country?
No.
At this point in the ad, I would tell you to call this number so you can help these deranged partisan Republicans. But sadly, they're too far gone.
Just some wild lies, and some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
Weird. If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Oh, it's so weird.
When he's on stage, he goes over to the flag and he hugs the flag, but it's a weird thing he does. Weird.
J.D. Vance's comments about childless cat ladies is just plain weird.
We're effectively run in this country by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made.
Donald Trump, just plain weird.
J.D. Vance, he has this idea that you should get extra votes if you have kids.
Let's give votes to all children in this country, but let's give control over those votes to the parents of those children.
He's been defined as weird.
Weird. I love you guys.
Weird.
Weird is the word here.
If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, they say the noise causes cancer.
Her and her husband have been calling you weird.
Look, I love my wife so much. Obviously, she's not a white person. It's weird.
That I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade. I was so honored to have done it. I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade, bringing it back to the states. Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights. The states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land.
Donald Trump has made it clear. If you donated to Nikki Haley in the Republican primary, Donald Trump doesn't want you.
Donald Trump warns anyone who donates to Nikki Haley's campaign will be blacklisted, saying any donors will be permanently barred from the mega camp.
If you're a Republican who supports Mitt Romney, Donald Trump doesn't want you.
We're getting rid of the Romneys of the world. We want to get Romneys and those out.
And if you are a Republican and don't want Trump to be the nominee, Donald Trump doesn't want you.
Anyone who is not on board with seeing Donald Trump as the 47th president is welcome to leave.
This is the disposition of a weak, fragile man. A man whose ego is so delicate that he purges anyone who offers the slightest critique. So Donald Trump has made it clear he doesn't want us. Well, the feeling is mutual. We don't want him either. And we don't want him getting anywhere close to the White House again.
Mike Pence knows Donald Trump better than anyone else, and he knows how dangerous a second Trump administration would be.
I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
Mike Pence is putting country over party, and we will too.
This is Mark Meadows, the Chief of Staff. On the line is Secretary of State. So, Mr. President, I'll turn it over to you.
The ballots are corrupt because they cheated like nobody's ever cheated before. The current margin is only 11,779. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have. Because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. And you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Republicans have made their choice. Donald Trump will be their nominee. In 2020, Americans voted Trump out of office because they saw his chaos and abuse of power.
Trump becoming the first president to be impeached twice.
They saw him fail to lead us through COVID.
Supposing you brought the light inside the body.
Then they saw him lie about the 2020 election.
The only way we're going to lose this election is if the election is rigged.
And cause an insurrection.
We fight like hell. We will never concede.
And since leaving office, he's only become more extreme. He's a convicted felon.
Donald Trump, convicted of 34 felonies.
He wants to use the presidency to attack his enemies.
And if you're president again, will you lock people up?
The answer is you have no choice.
He's even called for the termination of the Constitution. Trump will be on the ballot in November. We have to remember why we voted him out before, and we can never let him anywhere near power again. Republican Accountability PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Society itself is failing.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. Look at you crazy.
Grab him by the pussy.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Shut your mouth, because you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I did.
Hold it, tough guy. I'm not afraid of physical. Hold it.
Don't sit there and tell me I'm not.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. Stand back and stand by. Will you shut up?
Last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Okay. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting.
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
That was said sarcastically.
That was...
Even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that? You believe that? That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
If I may ask
Peter,
one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President, I was going to ask one other.
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
I don't like words that hide the truth. I don't like words that conceal reality. I don't like euphemisms or euphemistic language. And American English is loaded with euphemisms because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse.
How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, sit down. Sorry, Eric. Sit down. Look at you.
You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts. Alternative facts. Alternative facts. Alternative facts.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your.
I ain't talking politics, I'm talking life.
I ain't talking politics, I'm talking life.
All right, here we go again for another TFP, Tape Fist Politics Tuesday. I'm Van Cat, and today is September 17th, 2024. We are here for episode number 51. And this week we're doing another Politics of Blackness. This is the Politics of Blackness number 3. What is your definition of black? Again, I am Van Cat, and I am joined with MD20. What's going on, MD?
Peace, what's going on? What's happening?
All right, all right. So today is the big show, or the big showdown. We expect to have more people on here as we engage in the Politics of Blackness for a third time. And I was talking to Trevor earlier. This is going to be an open conversation. We're going to talk about different aspects of the Black community. Of course, the big one, as always, is going to be immigrants, Black immigrants versus African Americans of the United States. So, off the bat, MD, anything that you want to say about that part of it? Because I know you and Trevor have two opposing views on that.
Well, I'll say this because Trevor like to make it out as if I'm signifying something from a dignitary standpoint in terms of how I view, I guess you would say, different cultural identifiers when it comes to Black immigrants and Black Americans. Now, don't get it twisted. There definitely are cultural identifiers, but everybody knows my motto. It ain't no secret. I say no to Black, and the reason why I say no to Black is for the simple reason of we're having this very discussion right now on Tape Fest Politics. It causes so much division from I guess from a political standpoint, where it's a conundrum of different ideas and opinions that are not effective, in which what we need for for the lack of a better term, equality in this country, it does nothing to help. Not to mention the fact that it's made up to begin with, all the way back from its origins with scientific racism. So, everybody knows I say no to Black. We just need to throw the term in the trash altogether based on the fact that our ethnic identifiers are not broadened to the standpoint of Blackness, and it shouldn't be. And nobody should be disparaged or talked down to based on that. So, we'll see. Trevor, when he get up here, he gonna try to pick a fight. He'll lose every time because he feels as though he's looking at it from a perspective of white supremacy, and I don't look at Blackness in that way. Even though, it was created through, I guess you would say, the system of white supremacy, but I don't look at Blackness that way, and neither does probably the majority of Black people in this country. What people try to do nowadays when it comes to delineation, which again I totally agree with, we need to have specific demographics in order to affect the certain disparities in our own communities. I won't disagree with it. I'll never disagree with it. But when it comes to Blackness within itself, as we look at it today in 2024, is merely a cultural aspect of American society. And nobody can take anybody's Blackness away from them based on their cultural experience. That's all it's ever been since the days of civil rights, point blank, period. So, from that aspect, if you want to be Black, hey, be my guest.
All right. So you think that that term Black is actually detrimental to the Black community? Well,
I'm telling you, it's detrimental, 100%.
I mean, at this point, we don't even know what to call it. Is it Negro? I mean, we have an uppity Negro right now on the panel. What's going on? What's going on, Ricardo?
You damn right you have an uppity Negro up on the panel. We need the uppity Negroes to stand up in solidarity and raise their fist in the air and say, I'm just going on with a nigga babble. But no, yeah, man. It's an interesting conundrum that we have, MD, that it's like we have multiple stages of Blacks, and I don't know whether or not we're deviating or whether or not we're not in alignment, whether or not there's solidarity, but it's becoming one of those things where we have to now say, when it comes to particular issues where it's universal now, every Black issue affects every Black person. Whether or not we want to look at it that way, it does. But my stance will always be, if a white person is looking at a Black person, they're not gonna go, MD is the indigenous Black guy, and Trevor is the guy from Jamaica, and Van Cat is from the Caribbean, and Batula is from Africa, they're all gonna say it's the black guy. Go back to so and so where you came from. So it's like a conundrum that I can never understand. But every black person have their unique blackness, and we shouldn't be going on and on about, you know, I'm better than you black, and you're the house Negro black, and you're the plantation black. Like it's so redundant now at this point. So that's where where the arguments is gonna come into play here. There's multiple shades of black. We should be celebrating it. We should be proud of it. You know, there's some people that are black and look, you know, plainly white. Like you have Currys out there, and then you have certain people that look like the Tiger Woods out there, and then it's like you have variations of black. So should we be proud of our blackness? Absolutely. Should we be in divisive mode when it comes to being black? No. But I digress.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. So we got a full slate of people coming in. Mr. Straight Talk, he's doing one of the most blackest thing I guess he could do. He's straight up eating curry chicken. So I guess he's getting the chicken in there and the curry. Kamala Harris, Indian and black effect going on there. So we'll see him later after he finishes chicken. However, we want to go to a video while we wait for our other panelists to come on. And this video is going to be one of two. And we have one video that's going to feature MD's channel. It's a snippet from a recent episode of MD Thoughtbox Live. And also Yanga on the Think Tank. So we're going to look at those. So let's go to the Yanga video first, and then we'll meet up on the other end and analyze that. So this is Yanga and his panel a few days ago on his channel. Take a look at this.
Intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Think Tank, hosted by Yanga.
About the jobs, I know Trump had caught a lot of flack, and by no means am I standing up here advocating Trump or I'm this big Trump supporter. I'm just a brother. I'm a black nationalist, man. It's about the reality of a situation. And I don't go into fear mongering and bullshit. And when he was saying black jobs, like Donna Jackson, I think even further eloquently articulated it when she said low income jobs. Let's keep it real. A lot of black men, I think it's like 70%, 75 down to 80% black men on parole, probation or something, at least have a felony that regulates them to certain job stature or a certain level of jobs. Also, let's keep it real. How many black men don't graduate high school? So that keeps you getting certain jobs or keeps you in a certain thing. So yeah, absolutely. Let's, 21 historically looking what we came from. Let's keep it 21. Though a lot of those jobs that especially illegal migrants, I like the woman on here, she gonna say illegal aliens. Quit giving them that migrant status. You do the legal migrants injustice.
They're criminals.
They're criminals, right? The ones who have come over here, went through the process, are willing to pay taxes, do all the other shit. Yep. Quit saying illegal immigrants. We denigrate and disrespect the process that they have went through. Right. It's a lot. We have to be careful of that, Trevor. Let me address Trevor. Yeah, Trevor, I gotta have you on the show because we're talking that immigrant. I ain't forgot that your parents are immigrant. You're first generation. If you might even be from Jamaica yourself, my friend. And I love Trevor. Hey, man, shouts out. If y'all ain't called Straight Talk with Trevor, check the show out. Always great subjects. It's a variety of subjects. Please get over there and check it out, man. I'll be over there checking them out sometimes, especially on political nights and Man Talk Mondays. Them Negroes are hilarious, man, but they be going in. Check their ass out. Straight Talk with Trevor. We get you up here, Trevor, because your people may be part of the problem in your philosophy and ideology. It's not about inadequacies. Donna Jackson, the Center for Immigrant Studies, says it best, Trevor.
all of the illegal immigrants purposely in minority communities to sow discourse. The last thing that I would hate to say, but it's true, is that they believe that the left is deliberately setting up a scenario where there's going to be a racial war not between black and white, but between black and brown. The fact that the majority of the illegal immigrants that you've seen in the last year are actually male, military age individuals. A lot of those individuals have been incarcerated, gang members, all of these situations. That we have a community that the Biden, I call him lock 'em up Joe, right? He didn't just take fathers out of the house, he took fathers out of the community completely. So there's already a shortage of black males in the community. Now you're putting mass amounts of black army ready illegal immigrants in there. What do you think is going to happen? Now, perception is a powerful thing. For the first time, you have black males who historically lean left that are all of a sudden moving to the right. Why? Because economically, they're being pushed down the ladder, and these other people are coming, illegal immigrants that are being pushed forward on a pedestal. Imagine this, and I was thinking about this. The average income, median income for African Americans, just nationwide, $35,700 a year. That's somebody that's doing well. That's the median income. That translates to about a little bit over $31,000 a month pre-tax. $3,100 a month pre-tax. If you add in the 15%, because they still have to pay tax, that's about $2,600 a month. From that, take away rent, which the average is $1,500 a month. In Chicago, $1,800 a month. If you're lucky, you can share an apartment with somebody, maybe not. So you're deducting that. Now you got to take out your transportation costs. You have to take out your food costs. Legal immigrants can come into this country. They get $2,200 a month for SSI. They get free rent. So let's add that. $2,200 average, $1,500 in free rent. They're already up to $3,700 a month.
We got to address a few things. I want to address what she's saying and then some of the things in the chat.
That off the chain crazy. Like,
yeah, okay.
Shoulders.
Chat's off the chain. First of all, like she said, they're picking these impoverished areas. They're sending in migrants who are military age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And she ain't lying. She ain't lying, Trevor. She's talking about the majority. She just said you immigrants, because she said the majority of black Americans, and I totally agree.
The AMI, the working wage, and the living wage.
Yeah, exactly. Basically the working poor that are at the poverty limit. And like she breaks down, when they take down utilities, rents, and this and that, man, they're just below poverty. And these immigrants come over there and get that. We should feel some type of way. You know, as a black person here in America, that's a black African from America, foundational black America, I'm getting tired of people, first of all, telling me not to feel no type of way.
Right.
Lumping our struggle in with everybody. We saw it in the civil rights struggle. We've been lumped in with the Jews. We got lumped in with the homosexuals. We've been lumped in with the migrants.
And
black migrants, and then the black migrants come over and shit on us. The cultural difference, social economic difference. Y'all don't fuck with us for real. Let's keep it real.
Not at all.
Black people, we are so culturally deprived and hungry. We run anybody. Negroes grow locks, now they Rastaman. Y'all might do routine. You know, the Egyptians, we everything.
The party Yanga, because they've been delineating since day one.
Right.
They
don't fuck with.
I ain't black, I'm Dominican.
Right, exactly. So the first time that we start getting some gumption and saying, okay, well, shit, this is what it is. Now we dead wrong.
We're at war. You know, that's the whole thing. We're at war
also, I got to talk to my man that talked about divisiveness. Did I take it down?
Nope.
Come on, brother. What is it still up there?
I laughed at that. I was like, "Are you serious?" Because, like, check it out. If we're for the soil, anything else is tethered or anchored in. So we should feel some kind of way when it's disrespectful. Not only that, but nobody stands with FBA.
FBA is the only
one. FBA stands all alone, all the time. We pick up everybody's battles. We fight everybody's wars. We stand with everybody. We kumbaya with motherfuckers. We invite everybody to shit. They steal our intellectual property. They steal our fucking our cultural things.
Motherfuckers got breaking in the Olympics.
We don't have no hand in anything. When Foundation of Black Americans built the fucking nation.
Exactly. And we have to be unapologetic about this fact.
No, there is
and that's what it is, brother. Like unapologetic. Like, you know, brother Rick is too rude, and I'm glad you checked out. Please come back and check out the show. But you're absolutely right. Why are legal naturalized immigrants not included in the Black Levity push here? Because they don't include themselves.
Yeah, they got to.
We have been all inclusive. We've been kumbayan since we've been over here. We done kumbaya with every damn body. That's why our blood is so rich and mixed. Native American, whatever. Even the ones that don't claim the Ma'afa, the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, if we were here, even if we were indigenous, we have been kumbayaing with everybody. And foundational Black Americans have been shitted on.
Like, people kill me with that shit. We need our own.
You know, the thing is that we're not wrong for saying that we want to stand on this right now until reparations is dealt. By lineage-based, cash-based reparations.
Yeah.
We're not wrong for saying that. We shouldn't have to fucking apologize for putting ourselves first for fucking once and actually standing on the shit. We shouldn't have to.
Man, let's play a little bit. Ooh, boy, I know I got my team back. Shit, it's hot. Somebody give me some water. Then it got hot.
All right, there we go. A friend of the show and the channel, that's Yanga. I'd like to say peace to Yanga. You can see more of Yanga on his YouTube channel at Yanga Words with a Z at the end, not an S, with a Z, and Yanga Words. So that video, very interesting. I'm going to go to the panel. What do you guys think about that video there? I see Mr. Straight Talk is here. Since everyone already talked, let's go right to Mr. Straight Talk.
Oh boy! First of all, peace to the panel. Let me say this: I did invite Yanga over, but he told me today was his birthday, or this is birthday week, so he'd be doing the celebration of that. Which, if that's, I mean, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. But shout out to you, strength to you. For another year around the sun. That video appeals to the low-hanging fruit. Like I always say, that is a rah-rah video to get people who already felt a certain way riled up. Let me dispel a couple of things, because Yanga said that, you know, high school dropouts amongst Black men was so low. It's at 76%, only coming short to the 81% of white men. So when I say you're going to have to talk to me, there is going to come a time where you're going to have to face me, and that's going to be anybody. You're going to have to come to me with some hard down facts. Black men graduate at a 76% clip high school now. So don't give me that bullshit anymore about being so low graduate rates. Let me give you another number. 3.3%. You know what that represents? 3.3% represents the unemployment rate for Black men. So again, when we're talking about how these immigrants are taking all your jobs and taking all of this and that, I'm almost willing to bet that the men, not all, but most that are unemployed probably did something at work to get fired, because the number is so low at 3.3%. Let me give you another number, 48,120. That's the average salary amongst black men in this country. So stop listening to these race baiting bastards. That video that Yanga's playing, that's talking about, oh, the average salary of a Black man is like $25,000. That's bullshit. That's not the case. average salary is at 48,000. You're gonna have some that fall in lower than that. Yeah, so those are the numbers that they go grab. But we're talking about on a whole, average black man brings in before taxes $935,000. I mean $935 a week, which is a little under $50,000 a year. Should it be more? Absolutely. But if you're going to talk to me, you're going to have to talk to me in some real numbers. Stop making stuff up. Come with some real numbers. So to your immigrant part, I now want to know that I told you those numbers. How are immigrants doing anything to take anything from you? Immigrants don't control things. Immigrants can't keep you out of certain places. We don't have the power to control anything. So instead of, again, and I'm gonna land right here, this is what I always say, instead of fighting the real enemy, which is white supremacy, shout out to Mike, yelling Mike, instead of fighting the real enemy, which is white supremacy, you try to pick on the little man that really ain't affecting you so much. And that is because Black Americans are having identity crisis. Not all. They have an identity crisis, and they are afraid to stand up to the real enemies. And then they just try to hold on to any little thing. Anybody comes on yelling, "Oh, immigrant." Y'all like, yeah. See, without fact checking anything. You don't fact check anything. Unemployment amongst black men is 3.3%. We all gonna say the immigrants took those 3%? No, I bet you anything that they got fired for doing some bullshit on the job. I bet you that. Nobody can tell me no different, or they just too lazy to work. We did an episode on Baby Boy last night. That nigga didn't want to work. And that's probably what they are. Just the lazy bums that don't want to work. I said it. Come and get me. I'm done.
Well, okay. So Trevor, what I will say, and I'm looking here at tracking_Lou. The reason the employment rate is low is because most men don't want to work. They want that easy money. I don't agree with stuff like that. I don't at all.
That's St. Louis. Shout out to
I don't understand that logic.
Hold on.
I just want to say this real quick. Trump was able to claim that unemployment was the lowest under him. Which, I mean, that's Obama's economy that he took, well, whatever. But Biden has an even lower on the black unemployment rate. But it's not only the black unemployment, it's also the home ownership and all the other businesses and whatnot, black businesses. A lot of different things were realized with the Biden administration, and that helped to furnish a lot of that. I don't know why we always go after those perceived bums or people that don't want to work, and it's always in a negative connotation. If there's 100%, maybe at best it's 3% that represents the population. So I don't know why we hang on to that. But
Venkat, let me just say this real quick, because that tracking Lou, that's St. Louis. So shout out to him. But I so in the overarching thing about, them being lazy, okay, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I will say, in his defense, we're talking about, and a lot of times when we had these conversations, we're talking about the vocal minority. So we're talking about the people, because where do you hear all these talking points? You hear them on YouTube. And most guys that's on YouTube spinning this ridiculous narrative are bums that don't want to work, and they're just sitting behind their computer typing, they're talking shit. So so I agree with him in that regard, because it's just a bunch of lazy bums that don't want to work. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, but that little minority should not be representing the population as a whole, which is crazy. But MD, any rebuttal to this? Any thoughts on this matter?
Well, I'll say this, and I guess you could call it a rebuttal. There were not, and Trevor stole my thunder, because I was going to say that unemployment with black men was under 4%. He gave the exact number. So, kudos to Trevor for doing that. But I will say this. All of these numbers that are being pushed around, even the numbers that the lady on the video spewed out, and this shows you the stupidity of people when they try to do research and try to trauma bond and do confirmation bias. Those numbers that she spit out, talking about the median income, blah, 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 all this of black people. Yet she was talking about black Americans specifically. The number that she gave, it said black people. Who does that include? The numbers that Trevor just gave, who does that include? When they say black, they're not just talking about black Americans. They're talking about all black people. So this is the dumbassedness that we got to deal with. And let me say this first. FBA, that's not an ethnic group. That's a brand created by a dumbass, another dumbass, a lazy person that don't want to work, named Tariq Nasheed, that created some shit in spite of him being pushed out of the initial reparations movement because he wanted all the power. Let me get that shit out of the way. There's no such thing as FBA, Foundation of Black America. I don't want to hear that shit. When anybody say it, I correct it. That's made up bullshit. It's either you're a black American or you're a freeman or a Negro or a nigga, either one. Because that's what's known. First and foremost, again, the numbers that were portrayed by each party are numbers that associate all black people. That's black immigrants included. That's the reason why we need to delineate so we can get more specific data in terms of the impact economically of a specific group when it comes to the reparations claim. But don't nobody want to do no work. Everybody want to claim delineation and use these tropes and use false information because they're not studied in the matter. Fight it in the courtroom, fight it in the legislation. Don't fight it on the streets because niggas in the streets don't know what they're talking about. Second thing, and I want to ask Trevor a question. I've heard him say numerous times that black Americans suffer from an identity crisis. What do you mean by that? I'm just curious.
Well,
because me, I'm a full-blooded American.
Well,
and I think the American aspect of who we are is the core of black Americans. Now, folks like Yanga and Lady Che, they may disagree, but yet they call themselves black nationalists. I digress.
So when I say black people, not all suffer from identity crisis, it's let's look around our direct what we see on YouTube. You got black people. It's not good enough to be black anymore. Now you want to be Hebrews. Now you want to be you don't know if you native to the land, and it's like nothing's ever good enough to just be an outright black person here in America. Is we had to take on everything else, and I heard Yanga talking about stealing culture and stuff like that. Who's the one stealing the culture? Again, they won't call out the ones that's stealing it. It's the people that don't look like us. So that's my thing. Is everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. Like you just never. It's not good enough to be black anymore. And this is again me going by what I'm hearing on YouTube talking spaces. A lot of my
everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. How about that question?
My piss and vinegar is going to be directed to YouTube talking points because
I got you.
Because that's what I hear. And MD, you know, me and you listen to the same type of people. So you hear the ridiculousness every day. Let me ask you a question. And I said I was going to say this later, but I'm going to say it now. Why is it that black Americans can war against immigrants that look like them, but put all their faith in a Jew from 2,000 years ago? Tell me that.
I mean, it's a good question. But again, that goes back to what you mean by identity crisis. Hell, a lot of people think that Jew was black anyway.
So now all of a sudden we want to be Hebrew. Now we want to be Hebrew because being black ain't good enough. You see what I'm saying?
I get your point. I just wanted clarity. I just wanted clarity on it. I get your point. You know, if we're looking at it from that aspect, yeah, I 100% agree.
Oh, I can't today. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So this whole Israelite thing, these black Israelites and whatnot, that's so confusing to me. It's weird. Anybody could expand on that a little bit?
Well, here's the thing, though, Venkat. That's a subculture of a farther expanding issue. See, here's the thing, and I've said this too, and a lot of people disagree with me on this. I think the Great Migration was one of the worst things that happened to black people. Why? Because it opened up new cultural ideas to black people that they never knew of, like Pan-Africanism, like the Hebrew Israelites, like Islam and stuff like that. That stuff was foreign to us. We were just some niggas in the backwoods in the South. That's all we were. Then we had our own specific culture, our own mores, all that. We get up north and shit just went left. I'ma just be honest. And people ain't gonna like that. Especially if you're from up north. They ain't gonna like that at all. But that's just the fact of the matter. We got opened up to all this cultural identity from other people and created. A lot of people were grifting. Let's just be real. A lot of people were just there to make a buck. Snake oil salesman, you know what I'm saying? Or end of the world, chosen people, God type stuff. It was a grift. But a lot of people took that to heart, and a subculture was created. Hebrew Israelite is nothing more than a subculture of black Americans. That's all it is. NOI, so on and so forth. That's one of the problems that we have. And like I said, again, I agree with what Trevor said in terms of the identity crisis from that aspect. The issue is all of it is Americanism. If we look at the things that helped shape black culture in the early 20th century, it all stems from the American experience. Point blank, period. Everything that white people came up with stemmed from the American experience. The issue with people like Yang and all of that, they don't want to accept that. They think that these things are in lockstep with who we're supposed to be as black Americans, yet we all come from different parts of the country. Hip hop is not my culture. I'm sorry, it's not. It's part of American culture, yes. Directly, it's a part of the New York culture in the early late 70s, early 80s.
You said hip hop, MD?
Yeah, hip hop, yeah.
Okay, yeah, broke up a little bit. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'm still on the road. Yeah, hip hop is not part of my main culture. I don't give a damn what nobody say. So why do you got a certain group of quote unquote FBA people fighting, talking about who created hip hop? Who gives a damn? It's American. Is it American?
Rhymes,
yes.
Busta Rhymes said it was Spanish people and others that created hip hop.
And you know what? I totally agree with Busta Rhymes. Why? Because of where it got started. We're talking about New York City. I got to be a dumbass not to believe that some people was on the block one day scratching records and breakdancing and doing graffiti, and it wasn't a bunch of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans doing it with the Negro.
But a lot of people are insulted by that statement by Busta Rhymes.
That's because a lot of people are dumbasses. Venkat. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, Venkat, put up Ephesians 6 and 10 comment. But hey, I did want to say this to MD's point. MD, what percentage of Black Americans do you think consider themselves Israelite?
I mean, I don't know what number you're gonna give me, but it's got to be a fringe number. It's got to be.
Well, according to the Manhattan Institute, like 26%. That's a much higher number than I thought.
Yeah, I would have thought it would have been that high.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought, and that's crazy because me and Stacey Mobley had a conversation about that, and I told him it was way lower than that. So that's kind of disturbing. See, Matua saying 0.01%. That's what I was thinking. It was such a minuscule number, so that number might not be right. But as far as hip hop, Venkat, okay, so regardless of who created it, where it originated, who controls it?
Black Americans.
I don't think so. Who controls the record companies?
Oh, you're talking about Jewish white people.
Yeah. Okay. So again, our conversation is we're the monkeys that do all the work and give everybody the style and do this and do that, and then somebody who doesn't look like any of us controls everything and sets the prices for everything. So why are we again fighting amongst each other when we should be taking care, unifying, which that's not going to happen, and going against the real problem? That's crazy. Like, that's the question nobody want to ask. It's always, oh, I created this. It was created here. We were here first. We're the ones of the soil. We're the this. We're the this. You're the ones of the soil, and you still don't control shit. You still don't control anything.
I mean, that ain't my fight, because I don't, stuff that's being controlled, that's not my fight. My fight has, and me and Mike done said it before. White supremacy to me is like who's got control of the football at the last play. I don't, like whoever win the game win the game. In the aspect of how I'm looking at what we need to do as Black American people, because that's the only perspective that I can have. The only fight for me is reparations. All that other I don't care about, because I'm looking at myself as, okay, what do I need to be, or what do I need to do in order to gain this status of the American dream, all the tropes, all the fantasy hoopla? What do I need to do in order to garner that aspect of being an American citizen? Reparations is the only thing for me. Now, when it comes to all the other cultural war bullshit, I don't care about, because that ain't my fight. Because at the end of the day, it's all American culture. And if we can just understand that, we wouldn't be doing all the stuff that we be doing. Ricardo ain't said nothing.
Yeah, let's go to Ricardo. Ricardo, what's your view on this here? Any points on this you would like to make?
It's just going back to that particular day when Yanga went live with the whole thing, because there's so much misinformation that I heard in that whole segment of what he did, and he was just doubling down on it. And it didn't help that one woman, can't remember what her name was, Seduction
Doll
or whatnot, she just kept going in tap mode. One of the things that have always bothered me, because when Younger did bring up the point when he was trying to do his joke with Trevor saying he's first generation Jamaican. So would I think also I would be in that category. The issue I always had when I was in school here was the same stupid talking points was, oh, here you come from Jamaica, you are not privy to certain information, you're able to gain these added incentives of getting this and that, and I'm saying to myself, but whose fault is that? You've been here for years and you didn't know that you were able to gain this, and you're able to. Why weren't you asking these questions? Well, it's always some excuse. Don't then start attacking immigrants when they come here and do their own research and elevate and progress themselves. It's kind of disheartening when I hear people going that talking points that, oh, we're native to this land and we've always been here, and y'all need to fall in line, and it's they and them. It's like, what are we doing? It's kind of like what is the argument? Why are we arguing? Because like Trevor brought up the good point as well. They've been here for years complaining about the same nonsense, but yet you don't own anything, you're not controlling anything, or better yet, you're not elevating or progressing anything. So what is the argument? Why aren't you bringing that progressive fight towards the people that are in control? You have the NFL, which is still largely majority owned by who? The same people we're complaining about. The music industry, completely controlled by who? The same people we're complaining about. The media, the social media, everything else that come into broadcast and all of that, controlled by who? You barely ever see. I mean, it's probably one, if you're counting into the fact that we have last year, one Black person that decided, hey, I'm going to control a media market, and it was a push and a fight. They're literally still fighting them to this point to try to control something like that. Speaks volumes. Why we're moving forward in terms of how we progress. That this country is, we're heading into the 250-year mark of this country being, established on a foothill. But as we leap forward, we're still regressing because there's not that much control that we have in terms of, when I say we, the Black population. So what are we complaining about? We need to stand in solidarity in certain things, and that's always been my argument. I get the argument from MD's side. I get the argument from Trevor's side. I get the argument. We all collectively, as one group in solidarity, could do volumes. When we spend money, the Black community, we do the most in terms of spending, because again, we're buying things. You know, we're buying things that
it seems like MD wants to say something there.
I know.
Nah, go ahead.
Him out, because I need the argumentative MD to come out. But there's certain things that I think we do better, and again, like Trevor said, everybody want to be Black until they realize, you know, what comes to being Black. And when I mean by them, I mean by the other segment of the population. Once they realize, oh, you're constantly being watched, you're constantly being picked on, you're constantly being doing this, you're constantly being counted. Oh, no, I'm this type of no, baby love. This is me every day. This is what I go through every day. So if you got
everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. How about that question?
You're right there. Everybody want to be it, but then they're like, when they realize what comes with it, it's like, oh, I'm a back off. And I lost a ton of friends during George Floyd, who were on the caucasity side, because they were like, oh, I don't understand. I didn't know you felt like that way for years. Baby love, I've always been Black. So you didn't realize when we used to go in the store together, they were pinpointing and putting the limelight on me more compared to you. Whenever I got in trouble, you always skate away like, oh, I didn't do anything, but yet I was the one that was the innocent one. So you didn't see none of that. Oh, no, that's not, you know, it's not like that. So baby love, then we don't need to be friends then, because if you don't know me by now, you'll never know me. So I cut off people left, right, and center, because it was like an argument that we just kept going around in circles and nobody seemed to understand what I went through. But then it's so easy to do the all lives matter. No, it doesn't work like that. So there's certain things that I expect in solidarity when it comes to our community doing certain things, progressing, doing all this. When we're doing this bickering, infighting of who is this and who came here first and where this and I want this, and what are we doing? Meet in the middle somewhere and say, all right, we're all Black, so let's push the fight towards them now, because they're afraid of the unity. Whenever we're united, it's and when I say we, I mean the Black people. When we collectively become a whole as like a unity, it's fear mongering. It's like, oh my God, we can't let them be this, because now they're going to be. And you notice it's the same talking points from the white supremacy side. They're going to use every tactic possible, including, if you remember, Black Panther, of all things, to try to say they're going to draw people in. Are you kidding me right now? This is what we're doing? But I digress. That's the point I wanted to make, is that we could be more powerful if we're collectively coming and meet in the middle, instead of doing, oh, but they're coming from this side and they're getting all of our incentives when we've been here for years. That's not our problem. You've been here for years. You didn't argue it. You didn't bring that point to the people that you need to be arguing to. But then you want to blame me for like progressing myself. That's a stupid talking point. I get it, but I digress.
Let me say this real quick, because you know I call this the angel snubbing up 7 strategy.
Let's go.
There's a thing where, you know, and you ain't the only one that said it, Ricardo, that somehow we collectively supposed to control something. What are we collectively supposed to control? A lot of people say, oh, the white man control the NFL, the music industry. No, the white people don't control shit. Individual white people do. So why do I need to attack? What? Excuse me?
No, that's it. That's a good point. I mean, individuals, but they're still what? They're not us. They're
but I don't tie that to white people as a whole. And I think that's another issue that we deal with when we come up with this whole black white thing. Like, throw them shits in the trash can, because these are the talking points that come into play, as if we collectively supposed to be all inclusive to a certain industry. It don't work like that. This capitalism, baby. It ain't never worked like that.
There it is.
So in the sense of me being a reparationist, my standpoint of reparations is solely based on the fact that give you access to control something. That's literally what it's there for. It ain't for you to control. Whatever you want to do with your money, do it. It's not for me to decide the fate of black society as a whole. That's some bullshit. And it shouldn't be up to society as a whole for a white man to be the fate of the whole white, quote unquote, white community. So that's another issue that we deal with in terms of this whole black immigrant thing. A lot of these black folks are looking at it from that aspect as if y'all are a specific group doing a hostile takeover or something. Well, like what are we doing? And that's what I don't agree with. I agree with delineation, but not for the reasons that these other people agree with delineation. My reasoning for delineation is solely based on the fact that we need data incorporated to this specific demographic, meaning Black Americans, to have all the information piled in order to bring it forth, or whoever need to hear it, in terms of a reparations claim. After that, my job is done. Because again, I'm operating on the basis of me being solely an American. That's it. Take black out of it. I'm not saying that my American experience hasn't been altered based on the events of the past. It surely has. But that's of no effect to what any black immigrant has going on in this country. And it's damn sure not no effect from a cultural aspect, because all of it is American culture. How are we talking about being quote unquote FBA, foundational Black American, and we're not dealing with the American aspect of it? Ricardo, you are an American. You got every right to indulge in whatever American experience that you choose to, just like we've done for generations. You know what I'm saying? So it's bullshit at the end of the day.
So hold on, MD. When did your stance change on that? Because I'm looking at a message from you. I told you I came up here to argue today. And it was, do Black Americans and Black immigrants suffer the same systematic issues in America? So when did
they don't?
When did your stance change? Like how?
It never changed, because that ain't got nothing to do with culture. That ain't got nothing to do with culture. What's my magic word, Trevor? Social capital. It's never changed. Our social disparities are vastly different, because you didn't go through the same effect as my ancestors did. Therefore, it's in stark contrast with each other. That's where the delineation comes into effect.
Whoa. So, but I want to ask you two questions though. Has an immigrant directly affected you to stop you from getting work or anything like that?
No, but that ain't got nothing to do with social capital.
Okay, so that's the first question. So if I mean, Kev would tell you different, but you do believe that our ancestors came from the coast of Africa, correct?
Correct.
And you are aware that those ships stopped in the West Indies first, right?
I'm very aware.
And
not only did those ships stop in the West Indies first, but you had the intercontinental slave trade where we were going back and forth.
So again, when you say that we didn't deal with the same thing, I kind of find that hard to believe, because we both took the same boat ride, our ancestors.
You didn't. The social disparities in and of itself. Listen to what I'm saying. The social disparities within itself are the reasoning behind the culture that we deal with here in America. Not only that, it's the reason behind a lot of the economic impact. That's just a fact. Now, let's say there never was any talk of the Freedmen's Bank and all of that. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I'm going off what was done legislatively in 1865. That's it. Based on what was done in 1877 when the Army pulled out of the South, is the very impact of what's going on with Black Americans today. That's just a fact. Ain't no getting around it. Nothing. So that social capital, with you coming over here again, we've had this conversation, Trevor, with zero social capital versus my ancestors, what my lineage went through, having negative social capital based on all the disparities of Jim Crow, 1877 redlining. That's a direct impact to me, not to you.
So MD, again, because now you're saying that, because I'm glad you brought this up. So now you're saying we come over here at 0%. And man, Ephesians 10 and 6, 10 through 18 is dropping some good comments in the chat, man. So, and shout out to the Hassan show. So you're saying, because we had this conversation over on the other channel, that I'm coming over here at 0% equity, but you're at negative equity. How, after all this time, have you not caught up to at least be at 0?
Listen, let me give you an example. I've gave you this example before. The Freedmen's Bank, when the Freedmen's Bank was incorporated, that was money that we put into the bank to get direct interest. That was going to be reparations. That money was stolen in the bank, negative. Redlining, putting money into wealth, which is housing. You agree with that, right?
Yes.
Housing that was stolen through redlining, through eminent domain, 0 equity. Add on to it, we in debt. Jim Crow era, poll taxes, things of that nature, without being able to vote, put that into the bank, negative. Collection is calling us since 1965. Whereas your people weren't allowed to be here until 1967.
And when we were allowed to come over, we were in the hole, couldn't vote, had 0 money. So again,
you're proving my point, Trevor. You're proving my point.
No, I'm telling you that we were on equal. So you want to say if your car has an extra dent in the door that it's somehow worse than mine? Like, that's kind of
Trevor, I think what MD is saying is that you guys were able to bypass all those tough times and whatnot, those tough years that they went through, and then you came in when the water was a little bit warmer to come in. You know,
it's no equal footing at all.
Yeah,
it never was equal footing.
Right. You avoided a whole harsh period. Then you came in afterwards. That's what he's saying.
That's on this land though. Remember,
what we're talking about.
Hold on. And I'm just using Jamaica as Jamaica was under somebody else's rule, just like America. So again, if any island nation would parallel to America, it would be Jamaica, both under British rule. I mean, it's like, come on, like what are we talking about here?
That's a moot point, because Jamaica ain't got nothing to do with what y'all got going on over here. That's a moot point. Like I can't go for that, Trevor. At the end of the day, I'm not saying that there should be any comparison, you versus me. That'll be foolish. What I'm saying is, if we're going to look at it collectively, because a lot of people like to look at stuff collectively, if we're going to look at it collectively, our social disparities are not the same. They're just not. We have a lineage based on being impoverished. That's just a fact. There ain't nothing to dispute about that. I'm not saying that nobody can't get it up out of the mud. Hell, I did. But in the fact that how we look at the demographic of the people, there should have been equality of opportunity, just like every other demographic that was here before us. That's just a fact.
So
one group of people, huh?
MD, so that means that you're on what Yanga was saying in the video, you're more that way?
No, hell no. Because Yanga wasn't speaking that. Yanga wasn't saying it so eloquently like I was. Yanga was going off of cultural. Yanga was talking about cultural aspect. I don't give a damn about no cultural aspect. A lot of that stuff is false anyway. And even what the lady was bringing up in the video he played, you can't even go off that data, because that data include black immigrants. So it's foolish.
So MD, go ahead. No, this is gonna be my last question, because I don't know what Venkat got coming up, but this is gonna be my last question. So say me and you were both going to purchase a house together. Mm-hmm. Do you somehow feel like I would have the upper hand over you just because of where I come from?
No. But that's not what I'm talking. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you basically just saying y'all had to deal with slavery in the country, so you got you got an upper hand in suffering. So again, black people always going back to their suffering. That's what you're going to.
Put it to you this, if that's the way you want to put it. But at the end of the day, put it this way. I can link I guess you would say the impoverishment of the group as a whole. And by the way, that's even false because it's only 30-some-odd% of black people that live below the poverty line. But if we're going to use that trope, that's a direct link to the causes of the effect dealing with generational systematic oppression. That's just a fact. Generational systematic oppression that you did not deal with here in this country, despite what happened in Jamaica. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Y'all got California for that. We don't.
Hey, you might as well be an Israelite then, MD.
Nah, don't put that on.
Because it seemed like all you doing is rehashing Deuteronomy 26.
Nah, man. Listen. In order for me to say otherwise, I would be downplaying reparations, and I would never do that. But what I'm telling you is, you cannot deny the facts. You can't deny the facts of redlining. You can't deny the facts of the Jim Crow laws. You can't deny the facts of the Black Code. All this stuff happened to a specific lineage of people. Point blank. Period. From that aspect, if you want to say I agree with Yanga, yeah. But Yanga was talking merely a cultural aspect. Even with the black job scenario, how can you equate black job like what? He talking about low income. Trevor gave you the numbers, but Trump, even with,
I said Trump said they're still in the black jobs, so I'm still trying to figure out an indefinite.
But even with that scenario, you equating it collectively to black people, and that's false. Trevor just gave you the number 3.3%. So we paired in races for basically confirmation bias. Confirmation bias of something that's at a low level collective thought.
We definitely agree on that. Shout out to Simply Deep 1985. Welcome back. Glad that you came back, man. New subscriber from Man Talk Monday yesterday. Venkat, you got it, man. I'm gonna give me some more curry chicken.
Okay. All right. So we're going to keep the conversation going. I want to look at this video, and this one comes from MD20 Thoughtbox Live. And on that episode, we talked about what is black and different things with the black community and just properly defining it. Also talking about Kamala Harris and her lineage and politics in general. So let's take a look at this snippet from MD's channel, the MD20 on YouTube. Let's check it out.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
America refused to give the Negro any land. And they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. We are coming to get our check.
MD20.
Aurora, right? So these are the same illegal immigrants that committed crimes in Chicago. The exact same ones. The same ones that committed crimes in Chicago. The same ones that have committed crimes in New York City. The same ones that attacked the police in New York City earlier this year. These are the same ones.
You're going to have to prove that, Jesse.
You know, they attacked the police in New York like back in January, February?
Yeah, I remember.
And then they was on the run for a number of months. And then they committed some more crimes in Chicago. And then they left Chicago. And now they're here in Denver and Aurora. So, yeah.
So they just a traveling band of miscreants is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole gang. It's a whole prison gang.
Okay, all right, shout out to Vancat. What's up, Vancat? What's going on?
Well, obviously we got a misdirection going on here because from what I'm hearing, MD had to catch somebody up to speed on events we just witnessed. Donald Trump and his holding this whole immigration bill, border bill hostage so he could run on something. So immediately Republicans, Trump, the Congress of the Republican MAGA party, they have nothing to run on when you have a presidential candidate saying don't do nothing because it'll help the other guy. So I rather the same people they're pleading to that they need to do something about the border because people are dying, getting trafficked, and all these other things, drugs, all this other things that's happening. Those concerns are crocodile tears when you say kill the bill. And the fact that he had to be kept up to speed in live on YouTube, it's crazy because this just happened. It's not 1964. It's not in the 92 bill. This just happened this year.
Right. And look at Kelly. She's saying, was that bill strictly border? No, it wasn't. But that's called
amazing.
Compromise. That's called compromise. When you're in Congress, you have to work with the other side of the aisle to get a little bit of what you want, and they get a little bit of what they want.
That bill is not a little. That bill was a complete Democrat.
Was a lot.
Write what you want. Write your wish list. We'll put it through. That's literally what Joe Biden did.
Basically, the Democrats bent the knee because they were trying to pass. They were trying to pass funding to get more immigration judges, border patrol.
For who? With the immigration shit. My thing is, Kamala, she been the border czar for 3 years. Where's she been at? She ain't been to the border.
Kamala has not been a border czar.
See,
she has not been. This is just tragic levels of miscommunication.
Okay, Jesse, explain what her role was. So you're saying Kamala Harris was in charge of the border?
Yeah, she got appointed.
In
she got appointed to be in charge. Yes.
She was appointed to assess a situation. She had no resources, no way how, no nothing to do with that.
It was strictly a diplomatic observation. As a matter of fact, it was only for a specific area, which was Central America. The whole thing about her turning black. First of all, we done had this conversation. We done had this conversation before, Jesse.
So you really think she's black?
No, I don't think she's black. I think from a cultural standpoint, I can't take her black experience from her. That's what I believe, and I can't.
What black experience though? What I would like to know what black experiences was. She was only in Oakland for a short time. She was in Canada majority of the time.
What makes some? What are we saying here with? What are we saying with black here? Because it seems like there's a difference. Because from what I'm told, any little bit of black in you makes you black.
If you allow me to explain, brother, I'll explain.
Go ahead.
We're not all one big nigga. So we are delineating. See, what he's talking about is the one drop rule. Oh well. Just because she has supposedly her daddy's black, it ain't even been proven that he's black. Just because he's from Jamaica, don't necessarily automatically make him black. And has been no interview. I would love to see somebody pull one up of him saying, "Hey, I identify as a black American or a black Jamaican or whatever," because ain't he supposed to be from Jamaica? So when you actually go into the research on her family. One side is obviously East Indian. So,
Jesse, no, I'm not.
It seems what I've been able to ascertain here is that we're linking black in essence of struggle. I don't understand why.
No.
That's what it sounds like you're saying here. That if there's not a certain level of struggle,
but I didn't get to finish.
I don't understand that, man.
She's not. How do you know? How do you know that's his mama?
Oh my God!
Have you ever heard an interview from the daddy? Have you heard anything from the dad?
No, I haven't. This sounds like the LGBTQ community, where they have all these classifications, definitions, and categories for different ways people are. This is like way too involved.
No. But they don't have the same lineage as us, MD.
I agree with that.
You know, so this is where the delineation comes in. So just because they melanated, don't necessarily make them black. And a lot of them, when they come over here, they don't want to have nothing to do with black. They'll tell you in a New York minute, don't call me black. I'm not black. I'm Jamaican. I'm Haitian. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm wherever island I'm from in the Caribbean. or whatever country in South America or Central America or on the mama continent, Africa. They'll tell you in a New York minute, I'm not black.
I've seen her birth certificate. It say Jamaican on it.
Jamaican is a nationality, MD.
I know
not
that.
a race.
But that's
it's
what
it's an ethnicity.
You can't argue with you can argue with it being an ethnicity through nationality, but that's what I literally saw it. But here's the thing.
You know what will let people know that you're black? When you step in certain areas, they immediately know you're black. If you don't know it or don't want to know it, they let you know it when you go certain places. It's something that you just can't refute.
So is it a difference between a nigga and a black person then, Jesse? I mean, I'm just asking.
It originated in one place. Nigga, black, African American, colored, but they practice colored in the Caribbean. But Negro, African American,
and in South Africa too.
Afro American originated here in the United States.
I don't disagree with that.
South Africa, they're called as Kafirs.
These labels and terms seem to be coming from white people, and then we're just passing it along and getting involved in it. I just don't.
Current label.
What's that?
Hey, I agree with you, Venkat.
Current yes, you're correct. The current ones, Venkat, the current labels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna give it any credence or legitimacy because they don't matter to me.
So
and things only matter if you allow it to matter.
That came up with black. So
exactly.
Who came up with black? No, because you're trying to make the argument that she's black. I want to.
Well, we use that term as an ethnic identifier, though, Jesse. Us as freedmen.
That term, or white people use that term.
White people use the term through racial scientific racism. That's how they came up with that term. It was used before then by the Arabs during the Muslim conquest. That's where the term originally come from. You got Sudan, Al Sudan, land of the blacks. So we know it's got an origin story.
You got Kemet. Well, you got Kemet is the land.
I don't believe in that. We took the term
for just freedmen, or they used it for all melanated people.
Well, here's the thing. At the particular time during the transatlantic slave trade, they used it for all people. We didn't accept that term at that time, though, Jesse. We didn't accept the term till after emancipation. That's a fact. We took the term to identify ourselves because we didn't know how to identify ourselves otherwise.
All right, there we go. MD asked a question. What's the difference between a black person and a nigger? I'm just asking. that always makes me laugh when I hear MD say, I'm just asking. So we got the question here is, what is black? Because it seems like black is different things for different people on different days in different ways. It just seems like everybody has their own interpretation of what is black, who is black. It's just crazy. But let's go to Ricardo. What do you think here, Ricardo?
You know that switched over time from we used to be African American, and then that was a major issue itself, and then it switched over from well, you're not technically from Africa, so you can't call yourself African American. So it switched to I'm just black. It's crazy because in when MD was doing the segment with the fella there, I can't remember his name.
Jesse.
He stated something to the effect of but because MD corrected him and he said, MD said, her birth certificate says she's Jamaican. It's not ethnicity. He said it's a nationality. He said. Typically, if most people are not aware, so when I emigrated from Jamaica and came to North America, I didn't once say, you could, unless you put it, and this is the only country as well as that I'm aware of that does these surveys where they ask you, okay, what ethnicity or background do you fall under? Are you Black? Are you African American? Are you Afro-Caribbean? They're the only ones that ask that question. If you ask a Jamaican, they already know they're Black. Why? It's a redundant point that's moot. Why am I going to then state that, oh, I'm Jamaican, I'm Black? Does that make any form of sense to you? Obviously, I'm Black. So then it's taken away from aspect of, okay, so well, you must be from somewhere else. And that's I think it's a North American thing that I noticed, because when you go to like Jamaica and you ask Jamaican, okay, so are you Black? They're obviously gonna tell you, yes, I'm Black. Like, you look at my skin color, am I Black? I'm, indigenous. I came from, my descendants are from such and such. So it's a moot point. But I go back to this whole thing with Kamala. Now, I don't know why, and it's always there's much people that are so confused with this. So let me break this down for y'all who are not aware of this. So Jamaica is probably one of the most, if not the most, multicultural country in terms of the entire Caribbean region. And when I mean multicultural, because I don't use this melting pot, because I don't believe you can put people in a pot and melt them. It just sounds weird to me. So what I use the word multicultural, which means different people from different backgrounds. Over time, Jamaica was under Spanish rule first, and then the British came and took over. I believe it was 1665. Then everything, they start bringing in people. So you had the Indians, then you had the Chinese, the indentured Indians, so from India, then the Chinese, and then because by that point we had emancipation where the Africans would have been, who were brought into the island, became indigenous, which I'm also a Maroon descendant. So my family have Maroon descendants, as well as other variations of the groups that came into Jamaica. They emancipated, which means that Black people were freed. So, over time, Black people wouldn't want to do certain things. So they're like, all right, let's bring in the Indian people. So, let's bring Indians were brought in, the Chinese were brought in, Germans were brought in, variations of people were brought in. Today, that multicultural aspect of Jamaica is completely mixed. So you might get a Chinese Jamaican, you might get an Indian Jamaican. And by the way, when you hear me say Chinese Jamaican, it means they're mixed with Chinese and Black people's blood. So this whole thing of people going, oh, but she didn't say she was Black. Does she need to say it though? Because if she's from Jamaica, obviously it means that she has Black people in her family. That's what we mean. So it doesn't. This whole argument of she doesn't say it means that she's not Black is completely false. You could be Jamaican, Chinese, and have Black descendants, meaning you're mixed. So you have a Black Jamaican that married a Chinese descendant mixed over time. They look like a perfect fusion of a Black and Chinese person. When you look at them and then when you ask them or when they speak, oh, okay, obviously you're Jamaican because you're speaking Patois or the Jamaican dialect, which, is Patois if you guys are not aware of that. Or you might have a Black Indian, which let me, bring this into prospect for most people. You have Colin Powell, you have Maya, you have, I could go on and on, list the plethora of people that are descendants of like mixed Indian heritage. Then you have Kamala. This thing now where we're just going into this whole thing of no, she needs to state that. And because, people here go by the identity thing. If it makes people make people feel better, I think she might have to address it where she says, okay, obviously I have a Black father, obviously I have an Indian mother. So does that take away from the fact that I'm Black? Or because I said the same thing about Tiger Woods. Does it take away from the fact that he's Black and Asian descent? Is he not still known as a Black person? Does it then take away from somebody that's like Mariah Carey? Her father has Venezuelan Black descendancy, and her mother's Italian and white, or whatever you want to call that variation. Is she still not Black because her dad was Black? So then what are we doing here? This is the same thing with Obama. Wasn't President Obama's mom white and his dad of African descent, so technically he would be Black? So did he claim that he was more with the white side when he lived with his mom more? This is just a moot point that just seems to be going nowhere. It's like really impractical and it doesn't make any sense. So let me just, for once and for all, dispel this whole notion. Jamaicans have Black people that have mixtures with other subgroups, and this is why we're multicultural. So we need to state that we're black? No, because a Jamaican person will obviously know they're black. It's just context. So when they go on, and I hear people go, "Oh, but Kamala needs to be black," or their dad didn't say he's Jamaican. Dude, he's Jamaican. Obviously, he's black. Over time, they would have mixed. They would have, or let me just put it out there. They would have had sex over time with different groups of people, and then that sex mixture that they have would have created what you see now. Now, would they look mainly Indian? Probably, but that doesn't take away from the version that they have blackness in them. Just like when we had the one-drop rule during the 50s and 60s and 40s, when people used to hide and then say, "Oh no, but I'm white," when obviously you have black features, your nose look black. Your mouth looks black. So does that make you not black? It's a crazy move.
So why not put black on the birth certificate, Ricardo? I got to give you pushback.
But I'm trying to make it, because I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback. When you come, this is why you keep hearing me say, when we come here into North America, this whole survey thing where they ask you, are you such and such? When you get your birth certificate in Jamaica, they're not going to say you're black Jamaican. That makes no sense, MD. You're going to obviously say you're Jamaican. So then why are we then questioning? So you're going to question me now if I don't look black? That if I say I'm Jamaican, it's going to be like, oh, you're not Jamaican because you don't look like a black person. That's a moot point.
Harris was born in Alameda County, California.
What was that, MD?
I said Kamala Harris was born in Alameda County, California.
So she was born.
Can you hear?
Yeah, so she was born in California, right? So if her parents are, let's say, Mr. Harris is Jamaican and her mom is from India, what does she?
So, and I posted when I get a chance. Matter of fact, I'm doing a show Thursday as a follow up. On the birth certificate, it says mother's ethnicity or not, whatever it says Indian. It says father's race Jamaican.
Right.
And her race is listed as Jamaican. I guess because they're going by the father, right?
Correct.
Jamaican is not. So again, what's superseding?
Say that last piece again, MD. You broke up. Say that last piece. What you just said.
Jamaican is not a race. We agree on that, right?
Say it one more time, MD. You're bored. Say it one
Yeah.
more
So I said Jamaican is not a race. We agree on that, right?
Yes, we're not a race. We're an actual nationality. So
Other black people in at the time, when they put down race, it said in the 60s it used to say Negro. That's what it said in the.
I knew you were gonna go there, MD. Yes, go for it.
It says Jamaican. Now again, I'm not putting any onus on any of them, me personally. But for the sake of being devil's advocate, why does her birth certificate say Jamaican? And if my grandma was born, or mom or whoever at that time, it would say Negro. Why is that?
A different time period, different era.
I agree, different era, but now it says black. Whereas, again, I ain't gonna speak for what the immigrants, what the birth certificate say now. I'm just posing the question.
But somebody obviously made a decision they're gonna go that route, and since nobody really hashed out or designed like a standardized way of dealing with the different racial groups, they just decided, well, if you're black, if you're dark skinned, you're black or whatever.
So why wasn't the distinction being Kamala and her sister?
I don't get it. I mean, clearly Kamala Harris is a black woman, for God's sakes. If she has another, first of all, to be created, there's two people involved. So you'll never just be one thing.
So MD.
But she's clearly a black woman. It's so ridiculous. And when a white, crusty old guy is the one leading that narrative, you got to question the people that are echoing his words.
I agree with you.
Man, on the no,
her,
but that's what
say
I'm
Jamaican is
MD chipping in now. MD, but notice like when you look at Maya though, are they questioning Maya and Kamala not being related either? Because clearly when you look at Maya, she's more darker skinned than here we go, because I didn't want to even jump in that rabbit hole. But
No,
she's
I don't.
than Kamala is. So does that make her less Indian or more black? Like I'm confused by this whole narrative.
Take black to skin color. I don't do that because hell,
I went down the rabbit hole for a reason. There's a reason why I went down that rabbit hole. But that's what I'm saying. If they were to put Kamala beside Maya, would they then say, okay, well, Maya look more black than Kamala? Does that mean they're not sisters? They're not related? Like this is the narrative that they're pushing, that she doesn't look black enough or she doesn't act black enough. That if her dad is black, doesn't it mean she's black? I'm still confused by the narrative. And again, Van Cat brings up a good point. Why is the crusty old orange blob pushing the narrative and everybody's falling in line with it? Like you're not even black to begin with. So why are you questioning somebody's ethnicity based on the fact that they said they're identifying more with one side? It doesn't make a damn difference if the father is black.
I'm glad you said that, Ricardo. So you say ethnicity just. Do you believe blackness is an ethnicity? Which one is it? Because it's two distinct.
You said
terms.
blackness is an ethnicity, or we didn't get the last part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say ethnicity. So I'm asking, what supersedes that? Does ethnicity supersede race, or does race supersede ethnicity? Because out of ethnicity. Well, to me it is, because I look at black as distinctive to Black Americans based on the history of the term. That's just me.
Black. Matua said black is an ethnicity.
So if black is an ethnicity and you're from another part of the world, how are both of us the same ethnicity? That's not possible.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
You just
that's a great point, actually. Oh my God. I don't know, man. I just think that there's light-skinned people, there's dark-skinned people.
But let me ask MD, why are we not the same then? Explain to me why we're not the same. So if we look the same and we're in the planet, why are we not the same?
Ricardo, are you saying that me and you are the same ethnicity? Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking, why are we not the same? So if you're saying that we're not the same ethnicity, if I'm looking at you from the periphery and the lens of say a white person who then goes, okay, I'm gonna look at MD and I'm gonna look at Ricardo together. They both look like the same ethnicity.
Ethnicity is based on cultural markers. It's based on location, all type of stuff.
Right.
So we're not the same ethnicity. That's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And see, that's the conundrum we find ourselves in.
That just hurts my feelings, MD.
What clearly needs to happen is someone needs to define words that correctly, define who people are, and it's just not happening.
That's the point I'm trying to bring up. Somebody needs to define it because it's becoming problematic now, where one person is saying, "Oh no! How dare Ricardo say he's like me? He is nothing like me. He might look black, and we both look black together, but he is nothing like me." Like again,
because even when you look at a job application, there's only but so many groups that you can use, so you end up going African American, but you may be black, but you may not be African American.
This thing, Venkat, there's too much DEI hires.
Had you brought? Do you consider yourself an African American?
Say that again, MD.
Yeah, you're bored.
Do you consider yourself an African American?
Who, me? Do I view myself an African American? Yeah, I do.
I mean, technically, we would be, because we're descendants of African and we're American.
Right. Right.
From the other side.
South. I remember distinctively, Black people did not like using that term African American. Why? Because they didn't like the term African, because they felt like they weren't African. That's older people. I was young. That's older people.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people
But
will
why
still
was that, MD?
like our grandparents were still saying Negro, like to describe themselves, because that's what they grew up with.
And Negro is essentially black. That's what black is. So now we keep going around in circles with it, with the meanings. They should better define it, I think. But I just
Now,
go with black.
right. So we've done a couple of things here. First, we determined that not all black people are ethnically the same. We determined that.
Yeah.
Would you agree, yes or no, that black Americans, that black is their ethnicity? Would you agree with that? Because what other ethnicity would we be?
I don't know.
I got you with that one.
Let me get in there. Go ahead, MD. Just finish. Let me jump in there real quick.
What's your ethnicity?
Because I've been listening to this. I've been listening to this for a while.
What's your?
My race is black.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm about to give it to you right now. I'm about to give it to you right now. But hold on, because I wanted to jump in earlier about when Jesse was talking, and he made a comment that, you know, Africans don't identify as black. People from the islands don't identify as black. You know why they don't? Because they are black. It's implied already. You don't black Americans are the only people that call themselves black. You don't need to cry out what you are when you already know it. Anybody African, because you always say, oh, Africans don't deal with us, because Africans know that if you're a black African, you don't have to say that I'm a black African. We already know that you're black, but just say where you're from. So my question to you, MD, is what does the U.S. Census Bureau mean to you?
It would mean much more if we were able to delineate like we tried to do in the OMB.
Well, let's see what the Census Bureau says, because you a man that you know, you like the law and you like the whatever's on the books, and I'm pretty sure you think that the Census Bureau is a reputable source, correct?
I do. I like it so much that I called in to the OMB open conference to get further delineation on the Census Bureau. I certainly did.
Well, let's see what the Census Bureau says when it comes to race and ethnicity. Shall we? The Census Bureau says that black or African American, the category black or African American, includes all individuals who identify with one or more nationalities or ethnic groups originating in any of the black racial groups of Africa. So it's not something that's just defined to you. Hold on. Examples of people from these groups include African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Nigerian, Ethiopian, and Somalian. People who identify as Guyanan, South African, Barbadian, Kenyan, Libyan, and Bahamian also fall under this category. So you may not want to say that we are, but according to your U.S. Census Bureau, absolutely says we are.
Don't get no argument from me. That's why, again, I called in to the OMB open session conference to get more approximate numbers with census data. So I totally agree with you, but I want it changed.
Are you on your headset, MB? Are you on your headset? Because you keep chipping in and out.
Driving, bro. But again, I agree with everything you just said. Last year, last fall precisely, the OMB, they do this every 5 years, where they have an open conference where you can either call in, or if you're in Washington, you can go, where they do changes to the OMB. As a matter of fact, the MENA people, which stands for Middle Eastern North African, were considered white on the census for years. They wanted it changed, and they got it. So now on census records, they have what they call MENA, which is Middle Eastern North Africa. That wasn't there. There used to be white folk. So a black person from Egypt was what? Considered white. A person from Libya was considered white. They said, no, I'm not white. I'm not black either. I'm MENA, Middle Eastern North Africa. And they got it. Black Americans, the conference called and said, hey, look, we want delineation. We just don't want black on the census. That's too broad. We want specific data for a specific ethnic group. So under black, we need the subcategories of American descendants of slaves, which I didn't want to use that word, but that's what got there. American descendants of slaves, Jamaican, et cetera, et cetera. And they refused it.
So, okay. So let's go back to the Census Bureau, though, about what they say about ethnicity. So ethnicity is your cultural identity, chosen or learned from your culture and family, which you always talk about the black experience. Would you consider that being a ethnicity?
I would, and here's why. That's the only way that black Americans understand our ethnic group. But based on that experience, that's why we call ourselves black. And I'm not going to disparage a black person from calling themselves black. That's a black American, because that's all we know. As a distinct ethnic group, we all understand that we're American, but we understand that the American experience is a conglomerate of a lot of different cultures. So our distinction culturally is black, point blank, period. My ethnic group is black. What is your ethnic group?
I'm black. What do you mean? What's black? Didn't I just tell you?
So you basing your ethnicity off of experience here in the country, right?
Off of my cultural experiences.
I ain't got no problem with it. That's not in conjunction with the collective of Jamaicans here in America. You understand that, right?
I don't believe that. I do not believe that. That I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't believe that. Just because a few people say that they don't identify. What in Jamaican culture is different from a black American culture? Come on, tell me a couple differences. With the exception of the food, probably.
That's part of culture, right?
But that's not. But so that's enough to say that the cultures are too different. That's what I'm saying. They dress the same. They dress the same. The dance is the same. The language is slightly different.
No.
What about the Rasta aspect in Jamaica?
That's a religion. That's a religion.
That's friends. That ain't.
That's a religion. See, I just showed y'all how the MD literally is agreeing with me, because MD just agreed that I'm black, just not. At first he was saying I'm not black, but now he's saying I'm black, just not black American.
I'm saying, look, I want to be clear on what I'm. So this I'm saying I take your black. I've always said that I can't take your blackness away from you based on your experience. I'm saying from a cultural aspect, we are not the same. Even if you grew up, you endowed yourself in all the cultural aspects, we are not the same based on the social capital. That's period. With that logic, why those are not black?
So now you're going back to social capital, because
but Trevor, isn't a religion a part of your culture? Like, you can't tell the people in the Middle East.
No, it is. It is,
That's a part
but
of,
it
okay.
is. But Rasta is like the percentage of Rastafarians is in the grand scheme of thing is minuscule. It's just like the percentage of Hebrew Israelites in the grand scheme of things. It's very minuscule.
They're a fringe group, which
is not moving numbers
correct
enough. And for the record, I've been here since I was 6 months old, so I'm more rooted. I'm more rooted in Black American culture than I am my own culture.
That's why I can't take.
If you want to say that,
I can't take it away from you. I'm telling you.
So is black your skin color? Is it your cultural background, your experiences?
What is black?
Is it like let's say you came out a little whiter, but your parents or grandparents were black?
Facts.
We got the one drop rule. If you had somebody way back, great grandfather being black, are you still black even though you look white and you look like you're off Leave It to Beaver series? I mean, what is black?
Hey, Venkat, I'm glad you asked that because I wanted to ask MD. MD, do you have any white in your family?
Yes,
of course.
Okay, so does that take away from you being black, MD?
For God's sake.
So what? Like again, like what are we talking about? How much white do you have to have in your family not for you to be black?
I'm telling you, you can be white. You just said experience.
You can never be white. You can be black, but you can never be white. You can never. You walk into certain circles. Say, "Oh yeah, I'm Dexter Orthorn Jr." You're never gonna be able to pass that one.
You tried to bring definition and experience based off the definition and the senses. It's experience. That's what it says, right? So let's be technical if we're gonna be technical. Rachel Dolezal had a black experience. Is she not black?
I think she's white though. Like she has her parents are white.
She's Becky White.
Yeah, she's a white girl. Her adopted, I think her adopted parents are who are black.
The frizzy hair thing, but she's fully Becky White. So
yeah.
That would not count. Yeah,
it wouldn't count. She flim-flam the community. She scammed the community.
It's no point in time. Maybe in the back. I remember an old episode, and it's on YouTube. I think it was damn, what show was that? I believe it was.
Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. How about that question?
It's an old clip on YouTube of the Jerry Springer show with the white supremacists, and they did the DNA test, and he had like.
That's a great. That was a great. Show.
Isn't Al Sharpton related to like Strong Thurman or something like that? Somebody he hated. He related to somebody that he really hated.
So again, it's all mute points because she had a black experience. I can't take her black experience away from her.
She had a black experience, all right.
So she went on a Disney World ride. Basically, what you're saying then, because
Space Mountain.
Like Sarah Palin did when she was
Space Mountain. So what? Okay, what about the one drop rule here? What about the one drop rule? Is that valid? Or doesn't count? Doesn't matter?
Of course, it counts because we have an entire sublet of black people in America that pass for white. You got certain sections of the Creoles in Louisiana pass for white. You got the Melungeon in Virginia and North Carolina. These are black people. But you wouldn't know it. Going back to your point, Venkat, there's certain places that you can go where, you'll know you're white or you're black then. Not with those people you won't.
Right.
So
Now go ahead, MD.
No, I'm finished.
No, I think that's when you come down to percentages. What percentage can sway your race? Like that, we get down into that.
There is no percentage. Because again, black was created through the experience. It wasn't created here in America by some racial totality. That's why you had the one drop rule, because it was based on the oppression of a specific group of people and went on down through the lineage, despite whether you were white or not.
So is white a real thing?
No.
So the white would share the same experience, correct?
Your name?
No, Mike. Give me a second, y'all.
All right. Yeah, y'all. Oh boy, y'all make sure and like and share and subscribe to the channel and tune in tomorrow night. We will be going over the C+ player Brett the Hitman Hart's WCW run. Oh my goodness. Mike at the DMV. Oh, where I don't understand what he's saying. So Venkat, what do you think? If you, because I have white in my family, like you can go down into like my great grandparents, and you could find hell. I think I want to say my great grandmother was like white looking, like white.
Right.
But my great grandfather was black. And if you go by certain things, they say you're the seed of your father, blah, 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 which again, that's just something that's made up. I'm just wondering how much, what percentage makes you something, because I remember MVP said this, and I'm talking about MVP from wrestling. He was on a show with Court Bauer one time, and he said that hey, y'all forgive me if my Bible guys is in the chat, but I'm about to say something, so cover your ears. He said that white people are the only race that can be fucked out of existence. So
that's true.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is how much A plus Bret Hart, how much what is the percentage? Like if you have a white girlfriend and you get her pregnant and you're a full hard stone cold black dude,
blackity black.
If what percentage makes that child white, or is that child automatically black because of you? How does that work?
Well, any little drop is supposed to be black, but I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. That's what I've always heard, and it makes sense. Once black is on there, that's it, man. You're black. You're freaking black.
Created a one-drop rule, Van Cat.
Don't tell me white people, man.
No, I'm not gonna tell you no, because it wasn't all white people. It was specific white people.
Which specific group of white
They
people?
want the white race pure, right? Is that what it is? They want it pure.
No, that's the thing. We're deluding ourselves in thinking that it's pure. There's no. Look at the royal family of Great Britain. You think they're pure, right? White family? No.
One drop rule.
I don't know, MD. Who did it?
It was the legislative body here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It was through legislation that created the one drop. When all white,
which is white people.
Come on, what people?
That would be white people.
Listen, Vacat. People in England didn't have that distinction when it came to black people in Europe. That wasn't the case. You get what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, at the same time that the rule legislation went down, people in the Afro Brazilians, I guess that's what you would call them, the Afro Brazilians were making a distinction in the opposite direction. So you see the race game that we play, it's all bullshit at the end of the day.
Well, that's why they're talking about keeping the white race pure, but you got slave masters raping black women all the time back in the past. I mean, that helped carry. That helped made a lot of this happen.
The president that to Sally, what's him?
But again, that's only a distinction that was in North America. In Brazil, going back to Brazil again, quote unquote slave owners had black wives. They were actually marrying them. So again, how are we looking at this from a distinction from a cultural aspect of what quote unquote white people were doing? Because it wasn't all the same. The one drop rule was specific to the United States of America, nowhere else.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, when we use these historical aspects, how stuff went down, you got to put it. That's why it could not go on the whole time. Go ahead.
Oh, you're messing up a little bit there, MD. But Cliff said, "Is Babe Ruth black?"
Well, somebody need to answer that part. Is he black?
Well, you'll hear the Israelites say that Bob Marley is a white man.
Yeah,
because they say his father is white.
Well, technically, that's what I'm saying. So then the same thing could be applicable to Tiger Woods. Is Tiger Woods black because his daddy is like what you call, and his mom is Asian. So what Mariah Carey again? Like you look at her skin. Well, if we're gonna go by skin color appearance, we can say okay, she looks like a white woman, but When she always states, she said, my dad is a Venezuelan and black descendancy, and my mom is white. So is she black or is she white? Obama, the same thing. His mom is white, his daddy is black. So again, this whole argument, who is black and who is white? We need a definition here. We need to narrow it down to the, do I need to be blackly black? Like if you turn off the light, I'm black, or is it like a multiple shades of black where I might look brown or lighter skin? Like how do we define? Because it's becoming problematic or pragmatic, as we would say, in our community. Because once upon a time, I used to feel like you should be just black. But then when you start maturing, you're like, wait a minute, you black and you look like that? You're like, what? You look white? No, I'm black. And you see the parents, you're like, oh, okay, I get you. So it's kind of like, it's a strange conundrum to be in, but I think that's the issue here. We need to narrow down what is black, and nobody's able to. We have different definitions of what black is, but what is black? That's what I need to find out here. What do we define as black as a whole?
Yeah, so MD still believes Kamala Harris is not black, correct? I guess MD, are you there?
MD, can you hear me?
He's probably
like his headphones probably were dying. That's normally the case when you Borging like that. But again, I agree with MD when he says just get rid of the term altogether, because in reality it's too confusing.
Yeah, but what are you going to go to, Trevor, if you get rid of the term?
A human being? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you know why I say get rid of the term too, Venkat? Because it's a fact that when some employers see it on a application, they put your application in the do not call pile.
And never select anything from there. Just do not answer, because why are you questioning my ethnicity? That means you're choosing not to pick me in the end if you find out I'm black. So I just usually put anything for that particular survey when they ask you. So are you Black American? Are you African American? Are you Afro-Caribbean? I just put no answer, because you don't need to know that. Once you hear my name and then you see me like, oh, but your name sounds Hispanic. I know, but I'm black. So then what are you going to do? You're gonna hire me as your DEI or no? That's where
Yeah, I think like hell. I mean, we know it. You look on that being on any application automatically puts you and say, okay, let me say this then. So we're coming up on the anniversary when I bought my house. When you do the application, they ask you for your race on there,
which is crazy.
Yeah, but here the crazier thing: when you tell them what your race is, then they be like, well, then they go ask you another set of questions, like, oh, that's when you get the questions like, like how many are in the house, and how many, like bro, you're literally just trying to authorize me for a pre-qualification letter. You don't need to know, you don't need to know all this stuff, but it's like they take you in a whole nother different part now. You normally, so I agree with Ricardo, like not to answer it, but and hell, some of us don't do our kids any favors with these stupid ass names. So the employer gonna look right at it and be like, man, hell no, she black.
Yep. Yep, that's very true. They judge you off your name, you'll never even be looked at.
You know how many people, like, because people had to come report to me at work and stuff. You don't know how many people, when they actually see me, they're like, oh man, I thought you were a white guy. Like, because they just see the name and they're like, oh man, I thought you were a white guy. I'm like, oh, you thought my name was gonna be like, yeah, I ain't gonna just say any random black name, but it's crazy though. Like it's I think it should just completely be done. And I know. Oh, go ahead, MD, back.
No, I was just want to break in real quick. Those crazy names, usually. Now I ain't saying not all. I'm not saying. that it's indicative. Whose name is usually the crazy ass name?
Black
Black
women.
people.
Black women.
It's black people, Van Cat.
How
Yeah,
dare
but that's
them?
what I'm saying. I said black people.
How dare you
I'm
guys?
one of them. My name is not a normal name. It's an Indian name.
Yeah, you got a crazy ass. When I first met you and I said that name, I'm like, what?
And then my brother's name is even wilder. Vishwanath.
Oh yeah.
Van Cat, Bonquisha. Usually, she's a black woman. What kind of?
I know what you mean, MD. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
that's a correct.
You crazy. I agree with you, though, MD. I agree with you, MD. You always talking about taking black off of things. I agree with you.
I just don't know where we're gonna go to.
Name Bonquisha, right? The name that's a black name, indicative aspect of identity. Would you agree with that? No matter how crazy it is.
That's definitely a known ghetto name.
It is okay, because now we're going deep. If it's a known, I'm just using logic here. If it's a known ghetto name, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a black American woman's name.
Yeah.
Are we putting a link path toward ghetto and black America?
Say that again, MD.
I don't know why I keep breaking up. I thought I sound good now. Hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said it is so synonymous with black American. In your opinion?
That one word just got bleeped out. I heard everything but the one.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
All right.
But
All right.
If you hear a name like Alizé or Bonquisha or Shanghai, automatically know, you could. But then again, I've been surprised over the years by some names, and it didn't fit the description because they end up being Caucasian people, and I'm like, oh, like a Julia, we would probably come up with a name like Mantifa Thomas, and you're like, oh, obviously it's gonna be you're Caucasian. Okay, so yeah, it does happen from time to time. You get those names that are like a black name, and lest we forget, there's an NFL player now with a very strange name, if y'all recall.
Oh, I knew you were talking about.
So,
Have y'all ever watched some of them Instagram or TikTok videos where you got the teachers trying to pronounce the names? Just the funniest crap ever, man. It's crazy, but yeah, we give our kids these ridiculous names and don't realize how it messes them up going forward.
Yeah, sets them backwards. They got to overcome a lot of nonsense that they shouldn't have to.
So what? Okay, so so what's the solution? So we realize that some people just are not going to change. They have their talking points, but for the people that are level-headed and are willing to try to realize that we're all human, first of all, what's the solution, MD? MD, what would you like to see between immigrants and Black Americans? Where can we meet in between? And because immigrants aren't going anywhere.
They sure are.
And immigrants, regardless of what anybody wants to say, are just as much the backbone of this country as anybody else.
Right.
So what is the middle ground?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no middle ground. There is no solution. At the end of the day, we're all American people. You do whatever you want to do. That's the freedom that we have in this country. What I'm telling you is for the purpose of my ultimate solution, which is reparations, and will always be reparations, we must have a distinction toward the different ethnic groups in order to solidify and have accurate data in terms of what I'm fighting for. I can't do that with black because it's too broad of a point. And that's just a fact. All the numbers that we give when it comes to black people includes both me and you. That's it's inadequate when it comes to what I'm trying to do. So for the purposes of acquiring reparations for a specific group of people, I must have the adequate resources in order to do so. The only way to do that is to delineate. I choose to use the word freedmen. Leave black alone. That, black, that shit is dead to me. I understand culturally that we can't get away from it. You can't get away from it. I can't. That just ain't gonna happen. But politically, we can get away from it. As a matter of fact, the Constitution say that you must get away from it. So until we understand that, we're gonna keep going on the hamster wheel.
So let me ask you this question, MD, because this was one of me and your arguments from like 2 years ago. If the time comes where reparations are handed out, which I don't think is going to happen, but if it does, would you be upset if they gave me reparations as somebody who wasn't actually born here?
I would be livid, because what you getting reparations for?
Exactly. There you go. Then there you go. Right there.
I'm asking, why would you be receiving reparations? Why?
So you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care that you got your money. You'd be Malcolm Xing me and putting your hand in my pocket, huh?
Because it's unjust. What you have to answer to me. Why would you receive reparations?
There it is.
You gotta. I'm just being. What else you want me to say?
There it is. Because as a naturalized citizen, why wouldn't I?
Because your lineage don't go back to emancipation. Why would you?
Right.
I need a check.
Venkat, don't sit up there and write them.
I agree with you. I do.
Look. Now I'm fighting. I need my check as a Holocaust survivor. I need that check.
Yeah, it's not right.
I need my land from Native American treaties. I need it.
So you know
how crazy that sounds.
You know I'm gonna benefit though, regardless, because of my wife, right?
That's on you. What I got to do with that?
No, but would you be upset with that, knowing that, damn, his immigrant ass still getting some reparations?
No,
is your wife part of the lineage? Like, that's crazy. Come on now, Trail.
Hey, I just got to see how far this hatred go. That's all.
Like, come on now. That's crazy.
Oh man.
But yeah, bro. Yeah. You can't do that, Trey. Like that's a wild scenario. Like, and like I said, the Jamaicans have the organization of CARICOM. I support CARICOM.
Yeah, but CARICOM is basically MD. That's more like how you'd have the European Union. It's like a collective group of countries saying, hey, we're gonna push free trade and open borders so that if you allow with the exception of not allowing Haiti in, which I'm not quite sure.
Well, guess what, Ricardo? I will suggest to you that you go before a board of CARICOM and tell them to be more specific. That's what I would say to you. At the end of the day, these are fights that we got to do on our own. That's just what it is. I do the little part that I can driving my truck. You know what I'm saying?
And for the record, MD, I agree with you. I agree with you that if immigrant, regardless of how you are, you shouldn't be entitled to that. I agree with you.
So MD,
that's always been our fight, though.
So we should never be a part of the reparations talk, MD. That's what you're saying.
No, we shouldn't.
No. Your lineage don't go to America.
Yeah, we don't.
Why would that happen?
Yeah, Ricardo, that I do agree on, because this MD's whole thing is, and a lot of times I like to get under his skin. That's why I do this. But I get what he's saying. So when you hear like a Yanga talk or somebody like that, it comes off different than how you hear MD talking. What literally MD is saying is, we could work together. I don't have a problem with you guys living here. I don't have a problem with you guys doing what I'm doing. But when it comes to the debt that is owed, you guys weren't on the land when, you know, to fit the criteria, which I agree. It's like, I'm going to tell you something. It's like when I get a new guy at work and he starts in the fourth quarter and thinks he's going to get a 1-year bonus. Absolutely not.
Facts. I agree with that.
You just got here.
Yeah, I agree with that point.
So that's I don't disagree. If you sometimes when you see me push back on certain things, it's just because I know I'm going to ask what I know the audience wants to hear, because they're not going to ask the question that you know that needs to be asked. And MD, y'all got to know how to attack MD. I don't think y'all attack MD good enough, man. That's the problem.
Hey,
but
listen, man.
He said it.
Yeah, like I said, bro. At the end of the day, we are all American. We all in this rat race. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Better for all of us, though, MD. You said
we all American, bro. Despite how you got here, we American. What I'm saying is, for the fight that I'm in, black is not indicative to what my fight is. It's just not. You know what I mean? That's why, and you know, you could say that largely for the reasons that we have in this show. Like it's such a pile of confusion in terms of how we view black and hell and white for that matter, and it causes division. You know, for the most part, amongst people that really don't have a reason to fight. But on the same token, like I said, playing devil's advocate, there are disparities and there are historical factors that play a role in why the division was called in the first place. I've mentioned this before. Back in the 1930s, you had a thing called block busting in New York City, where Jamaican citizens in New York was purposefully locking out black Americans from buying certain brownstones in Brooklyn. That's a fact. You can look it up right now. Now, a lot of that had to do with a lot of the crime conglomerates and stuff that was going on in New York. But the facet still holds nonetheless.
So
like
did the Jamaicans own it? They own the brownstones?
Well, they were colluding with certain Italians and stuff. Like I said, it was mob ties to it. So what they would do?
No, but it is so you said that they were colluding with the Italians. So it's safe to say that the Italians were the one that probably held the deeds and stuff, correct?
Well, tell you what, on Thursday, I'm gonna bring up the whole
because you know where I'm going. You see how you went to attack the Jamaicans and not the Italians.
I wasn't attacking nobody. I just gave an example.
You see what I'm saying? You see the wickedness? You see what I'm talking about?
You see what I'm talking about? I just gave an example. That's all I did. So you know, I'm not saying there's not no historical context, but at the same time, in 2024, is asinine to hold these certain perceptions amongst immigrant groups when, as an American citizen, your values should supersede all of that. That's all I'm saying.
So I have all right. So we're trying to figure out the black, like who's black, what is black.
Yeah. That's when I was going out.
Yeah, go ahead then.
No. I okay. This is how I look at. This is how I view black, and I'm gonna go through the history. The first instances of black, like I said, and I said this before, was during the Islamic conquest. As they were going up through North Africa, they went to this land. They seen all these niggas. They said, oh, these folks is black as hell. We're going to call this place Bilad al-Sudan, land of the black, which is currently Sudan today. So with that off top, you can kill any notion of black being specific from a racial standpoint with that, because it didn't start in West Africa or it didn't start in America. It started actually northeastern Africa, which would be Sudan. I'm not Sudanese. I ain't got no Sudanese. I don't think none of y'all do either. So that would kill that. What would take their blackness away? Nothing. Then of course you got the scientific racism with the bell curve and the three categorizations with Caucasian, Africanoid, Mongoloid. You know, that was just a broad black term, black meaning sub-Saharan African. So there you go with another definition. Sub-Saharan African would mean anybody below the Sahara Desert. That includes a myriad of people, including the Sudanese, the people in the Horn of Africa. A lot of people don't consider them black, like some of your Ethiopians and Yemenis and all of them. Then you could get into the Americas where, well, not even the Americas. Go back to England, where you had the Anglo-Saxons categorizing themselves as white. Remember, white wasn't characterized for all white people at that time. It was only characterized for Anglo-Saxon people. Italians wasn't white. Irish wasn't white. That was a specific term given to Anglo-Saxons. And blacks was the people living in England at the time. That they go you another definition. Then you get into America with Negro, with the Spanish, and you know it kind of stuck. They just said we're just gonna call them Negro, and some of the Southern whites couldn't say Negro, so they said nigger with a hard R. So they go you another definition. So I can go on and on, Van Cat. What I'm saying is there is no definition of the term black, nor white. Throw the shit in the trash can. I can make black whatever I wanted to make it.
But
as a matter of fact, that's what we did after emancipation. We made black a term dignified towards us.
So it's a term of endearment?
Yes.
So I'm gonna play a little 1 minute video here, and let's see if you would consider this black.
It's the sheriff.
It's the sheriff. What? It's the sheriff. We own the pimp cane.
You crackers must be insane. Always want my pimp cane. Well, come on, mother suckers, whooping your ass will so be gravy. Cause I not only know karate, I know crazy.
Sheriff, are you gonna let that Negro talk to you like that? Kill that boy. Kill him dead. Negro, you killed my favorite deputy. Now I'm gonna come back now, and I'm gonna I'll kill your black ass with this.
All right.
It's
that's one of my favorite stuff. So yeah.
What else?
Go ahead, MD.
Hell.
I thought you said something.
You got that phone that was back here? What you mean it's in there?
Uh-oh, can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh yeah,
okay.
I can hear you. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
MD's blackity-black side coming out.
All right.
My bad. I didn't know I was still muted.
All right, so let's get into the end here. Any last words on the subject that we want to relay before we move on?
Nah, man, that's it. Like I said, I wasn't really here, and like I wish, like Yang and Jesse would have been up here because, like I said, I think not to diminish anything that they try to describe. I think Jesse's heart is in the right place. I do, but I think like he's so filled with misinformation and tropes on the internet from people like Tariq Nasheed and stuff like that. Like it's clouded his vision of what the true purpose of delineation is, and it's reparation based. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem. That's what we got to deal with as a people, and we got to stop playing the cultural games and look at the task at hand.
Right. Right. I agree with that. I agree 100% with that. Trevor, any last words on the black topic here?
No. I wish I echo MD's sentiments. I wish Yanga and Jesse and especially that sister would have shown up. But you know, it's all good. Yanga, we do give you permission to use the video if you want to do some critique. And that's anybody. You can use this video as long as you don't talk shit about us, then I'll strike you. But no, man, I think we said it all. I got more clarification on what MD was is saying, as twisted as it may be sometime, but you know, it's all good. But hey, I'm gonna be listening in the back. I gotta go spend some time with my daughter, so I'm gonna have my headphones on. So I'll still be listening just on another device.
Now, again, don't get it twisted, Trail. You ain't black, but you're American nonetheless.
Hey, according to the American the Census Bureau, I am, and you follow everything. You follow everything like that, like anything law, anything like that. You follow it to the T. So you have to admit that I am. You have to because it if it's written down in the books, MD has to go for it. That's what you say. You don't care about morality. You don't care about how things make you feel. You have to go by it because it's written down in the books. And according to the United States Census Bureau, I am black because my country of birth falls under that.
Hey, I can't argue it. I can't do it.
There it is.
So the next segment is lame duck. So it has to do with this, as you know. Ricardo, any lasting words on black definition?
Well, seeing that I'm the DEI black on the panel, you know, I just want to state that we are the world, we are the future. No, I'm not going to do the All Lives Matter black thing. MD, how dare you say I'm not a part of the fight to get some money? You know, black people always love to share in the money, and money is always pragmatic. We need money to spend and influence the economy, damn it. So when you said I'm not a part of the fight, no, I get you. Don't get me wrong. I have never not agreed with that point. I think it's not, when it comes to the entitlement of getting reparations, we are completely out of that argument. That's all on, you know, given in alignment to the folks that are deserving their, you know, their ancestors not getting.
Well, hey, Ricardo, it sounds like you messed up. You messed around. You got Trevor Cousin. You should have been finding you a Black American woman. That way, once the reparations do come, at least you'll get part of the check. At least Trevor played it right.
But didn't the Democrats shut down reparations in California?
Right.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. I could do a whole show just on that. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, I know, and you know, this part of a private conversation. I know you was mentioning that you wanted to do some clips, like some personalized clips with me and Ricardo.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put together something for next week, and I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
And that's probably gonna be what I'm gonna talk about.
Okay.
But also, before you go, why you think that more black people were enraged about the California shutdown of the reparations stance in regards to, you know, giving it up? Because we've seen the Huntington Beach thing, and we've seen you know, where they're saying, oh, you know, it's only perfect timing now that we give back what we took or stole from such and such people. So why you think they shut down that portion of the speaking points of reparations for the black folks in the state, and why is it that more black folks weren't more enraged and went in attack mode in terms of not getting anything done?
Well, because I think a lot of black folks in California were just disparaged based on what happened. But I put it to you this way: I'm not putting the blame on California Democrats per se. it's a lot of blame to go around. But at the same time, Senator Bradford, the one who put the bill together and was supposed to propose the bill, went rogue. And you know, that's all I'll say about it. And he should be ashamed of himself of what happened, because I solely blame him.
Got you.
Wow. One guy specifically tanked the whole thing. Yeah.
And this was the person that was supposed to be bringing it to the floor. So I'll just give the bang. So Senator Bradford, he was on the California Reparations Task Force. He was the champion of the bill. He's running for lieutenant governor come next term. He wanted all the glory. He was supposed to have the bill go through the Black Caucus in California. He chose not to do that. He basically said, to hell with the Black Caucus, I'm going to champion the bill all by myself. As a result, the Black Caucus said, screw you. We're not going to motion your bill to be put on the floor. That's what happened.
Wow.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Vanity, ego, ignorance. Oh. All right, so it is that time. It's that time to put the spotlight on a piece of trash. So, as always, it's lame ducking time. So let's get ready to go into session. Lame duck session.
First things first, in this lame duck session.
For the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready?
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys. I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced. I'm tired of being quiet. I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
With great power comes great responsibility.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These eyes. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking
television
it from the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that.
And illegal Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants.
Allegedly, Haitians are going around and taking people's pets and eating them. The duck pond in a local park is being picked clean.
These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into... they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't even want to, seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them
And illegal Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Springfield, Ohio. I was there. I campaigned there a while ago. Springfield, it was so beautiful. Now it's just, what a place. Can you imagine you have this small little community, all of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from.
They won't stop. I mean, I thought we heard that it was the campaign strategy pre-debate to not touch this, and then he went all the way in.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Where did this even come from? Because Trump didn't pull it from nowhere. J.D. Vance, senator from Ohio, tweeted about it the day before the debate, and other Republicans have too. The Arizona GOP put up a billboard.
I've heard from many of my own constituents who have seen geese being taken out of local parks and slaughtered in front of their eyes.
But police and officials in the city of Springfield, Ohio, said they'd received no credible reports of immigrants harming pets. Like one report being cited as proof online is just the documentation of a call made to authorities. Also, officials say Haitian migrants in the city are there legally. The toughest thing about claims like these is they're impossible to 100% disprove. But we can look at the evidence being used to support them, like this clip.
What did you do? Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it?
Police charged this 27-year-old woman with animal cruelty in August, but in Canton, Ohio, 175 miles away from Springfield. Also, police told us she's an American citizen who's long lived in Ohio. Other claims about pet eating seem to stem from Facebook groups, which lack any tangible evidence and often aren't even first-hand accounts. This picture, first posted on Reddit in July, is from Columbus, Ohio, 45 miles from Springfield. We talked to the person who took the photo. He had no theories about how the Canadian goose had died, and no indication that the man was Haitian. One bite that did at least happen in Springfield came at this city meeting in August, where resident Anthony Harris said that immigrants were
in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them
Harris said in an interview posted Thursday that he hadn't seen it happen, but had heard about it.
People would hit me like, okay, I just seen a Haitian just grab up a duck in the park and cut his head off and walk off with it.
He also appeared to reference the same call to police, which again, police said they found no evidence for. Rumors about Haitians online and elsewhere have spread long before he brought it up. And the biggest downside of all of these rumors is they're now having real-world consequences.
Some community members say the rumor is putting their lives at risk.
2 elementary schools in Springfield, Ohio, evacuated today. 2 college campuses there, Clark State College and Wittenberg University, shut down. Classes being held virtually because of bomb and shooting threats. Some of the threats targeting the Haitian communities at the schools and in town.
A bomb threat, particularly one that disrupts something like a school, is a very serious crime. It's felony. So whoever's responsible, knock it off. You could go to prison on this.
Government buildings in Springfield have also received threats in recent days. The threats come in the wake of a disturbing sequence of falsehoods about the Haitian community in Springfield. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, who's from Ohio, picked up on internet rumors that Haitian immigrants in the town were eating people's pets. Then former President Donald Trump amplified those rumors at last week's debate.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Springfield's mayor and the Republican governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, again had to knock down the rumors.
And we just have no verifiable claim that this has actually happened.
The mayor tells us and the chief of police tells us there's been no evidence at all of anyone eating a dog or any Haitians doing any of that.
Still, J.D. Vance, in an interview with CNN's Dana Bash, doubled down on the false claim, but provided no evidence for it. Then Vance said this.
If I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana.
But then, pressed by Bash on whether he created the whole story, Vance said this.
I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it.
Neither Vance nor Trump have moved away from the false claim of pets being eaten in Springfield, even when Trump was asked over the weekend if he would denounce the recent threats.
I don't know what happened with the bomb threats. I know that it's been taken over by illegal migrants, and that's a terrible thing that happened.
So the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, Rob Rue, said, quote,
all these federal politicians that have negatively spun our city, they need to know they're hurting our city, and it was their words that did it. Before Donald Trump talked about eating dogs and cats on a debate stage, it was you, Senator, who first elevated this baseless rumor. These are your constituents. So why are you putting them at risk by continuing to spread claims about Haitian immigrants, despite officials in your state saying that there's no evidence and pleading for you to stop?
In addition to Aurora, Colorado, there's a place called Springfield, Ohio, that you've been reading about. 20,000 illegal Haitian immigrants have descended upon the town of 58,000 people, destroying their entire way of life. This was a beautiful community, and now it's horrible what's happened. Enrollment of the state's Medicaid and food assistance programs have soared. Motor vehicle accidents have skyrocketed. Recording of 911 calls even show residents are reporting that the migrants are walking off with the town's geese. They're taking the geese. You know where the geese are? In the park, in the lake. And even walking off with their pets. My dog's been taken.
That part of the conspiracy theory comes from a singular 911 call. Just one.
Clark County Communications. Oh, yes, ma'am. I got a question. This is a non-emergency line, correct? Yes, it is. Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today. And I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand.
But some migrants are saying that they're now living in fear because of these fictional stories that are coming out about them.
This man, too frightened to show his face or use his name, says coworkers at his construction job have repeatedly asked him if he eats cats. Viles Dorseville, who runs a community center for Haitians, says many fled violence at home.
I got a friend calling me asking me if he has to leave because he's scared for his life.
Dana, first of all, let me just respond to a couple things that you said, but I want to start with something you said, which I think is frankly disgusting and is more appropriate for a Democratic propagandist than it is for an American journalist. There is nothing that I have said that has led to threats against these hospitals. These hospitals, the bomb threats and so forth, it's disgusting. The violence is disgusting. We condemn it. We condemn all violence.
Senator, this happened after you and President Trump on the debate stage said that cats and dogs were being eaten.
You asked a question, Dana, and I'm going to go ahead and answer it.
After that, they were...
Politicians, Bernie Moreno, Chip Roy, J.D. Vance, and Donald Trump. They have spoken my son's name and used his death for political gain. This needs to stop now. They are not allowed, nor have they ever been allowed to mention Aiden Clark from Springfield, Ohio. I will listen to them one more time to hear their apologies.
Senator, he's asking for you to apologize. Will you?
If I have to,
but it wasn't just a meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. Why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're creating
talking
a
about
story.
Public policy.
Sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not
accurate. Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield thanks to Kamala Harris's policies.
Ohio State Representative Casey Weinstein tweeted after that now infamous CNN interview, quote, in the wake of J.D. Vance admitting he created the pet eating story, and as a result of the very real threats the communities and people he has targeted are now under, I am calling on him to resign as our senator.
All right. There he goes. Put the spotlight on this big bucket piece of trash ass nigga. J.D. Vance, the trash bag human of the week, number 56 variety. J.D. Vance, that piece of trash, garbage ass, hoe ass bag, gutter trash. Ricardo, what do you think about number 56, J.D. Vance?
What shall we say? Lord. Now, imagine watching when the former president, or Agent Orange 45 said this in real time, how we all were gasping and flabbergasted and laughed and joked, but it was crazy just even hearing that talking point brought up to begin with. We people in this day and age have to be very careful with the way they bring about. It's kind of like doing Chinese telephone. Van Cat would tell me one story, and then by the time it comes out and reach the next person, it's a complete different story. He literally just said on live TV that I made up the information. And not only did he say he made up the information, he's then doubles down on the point by saying, if I have to get this information across so that the American, we bring attention to the information to the American people. Sir, what are we doing? That you literally just implicated yourself, and you're now liable because you just made up a whole, storyline about how Haitian people are eating cats and dogs. And not only that, you created a dynamic where there was threats being thrown to little kids that are in school, because now when you talk about pets, and if there's one thing that I've known about this country is that people are very particular about pets. You can't say whether it be pets or animals in general, you have to be so careful. So for you to even went on that diatribe of nonsense to then come back out to make yourself look like you were the holy savior, you're below the lowest of lows. Like, that ain't it, JD. In addition to you being weird, in addition to you, we're not sure if you still love certain aspects or things, which is none of our business. But sir, this ain't it. And in addition to this and the shooting that almost happened to Agent Orange 45, and then you're gonna blame the other side and say, oh, this is all y'all fault. Really? I can't even go on, but I just want to say the final point that eating jerk teriyaki terrier is got to be one of the craziest things we've heard in a while, and I guess eating pussy wasn't a thing until this moment. So kudos to you, JD. You were an amazing, fantastic VP pick that Trump never discusses anything with. So here we are, human trash bag of the week, like Venkat says. Seeing people eating cats and dogs, and in addition to eating canine and I can't even do it. Venkat, go. Go on.
Yeah, they also eating the geese and they eating ducks. They eating everything.
And how dare you eat Canadian geese? Like, what did the Canadians do to you? It's bad enough South Park blame Canada. Now we're eating Canadian geese too. Like, get it together, people.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. MD, what did you think about this huge steaming pile of garbage trash bag human that we're talking about? JD Vance.
So it was all fun and games last week when this situation happened. A couple of weeks ago, whenever that was. But in all seriousness, now with that Dana Bash interview, and like I said, Ricardo hit it spot on. He implicated himself. And speaking of, the politics of blackness. Where is Ben Crump? Because in all seriousness, those feel file a defamation lawsuit on JD Vance, Trump, and whoever else for basically slandering the name of those people. And to the point where it's to a point where now you can actually go criminal if you want, and saying they solicited acts of violence on these people, because that's exactly what they did. What's the difference between this situation and J6? Ain't much. So JD Vance is the worst vice presidential candidate of all time. For him to go on national TV and say that he made the story up so he can get something highlighted based on what he think Kamala did. A dumbass. You can't be that stupid.
Nobody is.
And then when she called you out on it, you play like you lost the feed. You don't know what she said. Like bro, bizarro world is what we living in. This is bizarro world. Everything upside down, man. And for us to have a presidential candidate like JD Vance that's actually serious about running for vice president is baffling to me. That was the most dumbest thing that he could have ever said in that interview. If he had to create story, like, hey, hey, I don't know what to say, Van Cat. Where the legal team at?
Oh, they're there. They're coming. We don't even know what to say. This is just, we've gotten down this rabbit hole of misinformation that sounds like it's credible information. And there's another thing, people, please source your materials. Like, if you know you're gonna say something about somebody or something that happened, tell me where you got information from, because now everybody could say they're a journalist at this point, and it's credible. That's nuts. That's crazy. This is what we're doing.
Well, what's crazy, Ricardo, is that it didn't just end there. Oh, no, it didn't. Because, these Republican surrogates, they like to go out and try to help with damage control. So they go on shows to try to, cool down the temperature and try to clean up the mess that's been made. However, it doesn't work out if you're making a bigger mess than the original mess. Check this video out. We'll be back.
Finally, he said something to the effect of, look, if we have to create stories in order to bring attention to what's happening, the media, he admits they made it up, right? As opposed to, and if you listen to the full clip, he says, by drawing attention to what's happening on the ground, it's just, as this line goes online, you don't hate the media enough. Go ahead.
You remember Alternative Facts with Kellyanne? They did the same thing. She wasn't saying you make up fictions and pretend they're facts. You bring other facts to bear in the debate that are being ignored. That's what he was saying. And I think it was in that interview where Dana Bash says, the police have gone through 11 months of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese from ponds.
There are a lot of words that can get you to N-wordville.
Calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese from ponds.
Okay. Now he said what he said. Now he said what he said.
Did he say what he said?
Wow.
So the Republican Party has some problems, some deep-rooted problems. I mean, they're just letting it fly.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute, Van. We gotta unpack this.
Okay.
Now he, it's implied that he was about to say Haitian niggas. Let's just keep it a buck. What's the difference between a Haitian nigga?
I don't know. There's levels to this, I guess. I didn't know that there was levels to this. I don't know. Oh, man. This cornmeal eating ass nigga came out here and he just started going off the lip, got a little too comfortable on her show, and he let it fly. And it's like, you're doing damage control for J.D. Vance and Donald Trump's belligerent actions. And he kind of made the damn thing worse.
And you know what's crazy about all of this, though, because, Trevor, Mr. Straight Talk brought this point up. This could either do one or two things. It's either going to galvanize the low-hanging fruits that are, at the base roots at this point, or it's going to embolden people to not vote for Agent Orange 45 and Vance, girl dressing wannabe Vance. It's ludicrous, just the fact that they and that's my other issue with the Republican Party. This is where you keep hearing MD saying conservatism is dead, because where are the Mitch McConnells and the rest of them that would usually say, hey, we're gonna come out and say this is just unfounded? Even Crump, that moron, that Ben Crump, what are we doing? And MD, where is what's his face that is from Carolina that usually is like a good talking point for the rational portion of Trump? What's his name again from North Carolina? Is it North Carolina?
Talking about Tim Scott.
Tim Scott?
No, Bucktooth. The other one. Is it not North Carolina? I mean, other dude.
From South Carolina.
Yes, from South Carolina. That's what I meant.
You're talking about what's the name? That idiot that talks all like he's kind of gay, but We don't really know if he's gay. Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey. Where are all these?
Yeah.
Where's the Lindsey Grahams and the rest of them that are usually the rational, common, talking points of Trump when shit hits the fan and they're like, oh, but that's not what he meant. He meant to say that he's bringing it forefront. It was that bad that none of them came out. Now we have and MD. Who is this Loomer girl? Because she just came out of nowhere too. Like, this moron is worse than I thought there was. MTG hit the nail on the fan, but Loomer is nuts. Like, crazy conspiracy. I want Trump to win nuts, where she's coming up with a whole bunch of conspiracy stuff, and she's coming up with a whole bunch of stuff, and people are believing it. Where are these people coming from? Out of the woodwork.
Well, speaking of conspiracy, they're saying Lord is Trump's concubine. So
could be
that's the rumor going around.
I've heard that too. So I don't know where Melania is, but she needs to go get her
I think Melania just counting checks, man. she waiting for this to be all over with so that the contract could free her up, because I think that she reading up the prenuptial saying that she's not allowed to divorce him until after his political aspirations are done. I don't think she can do it.
And we haven't seen her on the campaign trail. I haven't seen her doing anything at any events. She's still in mourning over her appearance, which, I mean, is still devastating and sad. I mean, my condolences to her. But it's been almost close to a year and a half now, Melania. You're nowhere near your husband in anything.
Well, she got to ride that excuse out, Ricardo. That's a hell of an excuse.
But
she don't want to be there.
In history, have you ever seen a presidential candidate with her potential first lady right beside? When?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen that before either. Like, you always have a potential first lady or the first lady that's currently in place, always beside the president. I just find
Biden's wife helped him up and down the stairs during the debate when he could barely move. I mean, that's what the first lady should be doing.
But
supporting her man.
So that speaks volumes. For you MAGA maniacs out there that are always with your conspiracy theories, explain to me why this woman who is his wife is nowhere to be seen near him, around him, beside him, but Loomer is, and God knows what kind of side piece she is in terms if allegedly, if that is true, because the way she dick riding Trump with every damn talking point she has now, even MTG can't stand her ass.
And
go ahead.
Barron Trump, he's so much on the tit of Melania, where he couldn't even go to school nowhere else. He had to go to NYU to stay because Melania, she's not in Florida, she in Trump Tower.
Yeah, that's another excuse, MD, to not be around Trump. She wants as minimal contact as possible, sir. Don't you understand the game, Melania? She's using all these excuses to stay far away from that idiot. She's just waiting, and I guess with every passing year, the dollar amount goes up and up when she divorces ass. So it's all a game, man. Melania, freak, Joe Biden's wife is probably feeding them alphabet soup right now as we speak.
He said alphabet.
So the Republican Party, man, they got, I don't know how you can at this particular point support this. I mean, you got racism on full display. They could use Springfield, Ohio as this real legitimate political talking point. Really talk about that issue that's plaguing that area. Instead, they're like, no, racism. You got to do it because their base clamors for it. They're activated for it. I guess they did not expect the sustained backlash from it from other people, because a lot of these controversies with Trump, they come and they go, and there's a new one and there's another one, and he does that on purpose to kind of overshadow the ones that he really doesn't want out there. So when you hear him tapping Obama's phone like he put out there, he just said that just so he could take off the pressure that with the Muslim ban when he rolled that out. So let's say Obama tapped my microwave so that I can have people talking about that instead of this and blah, blah, blah. It's all a strategy, man. It's all being played. Everybody's being played. And it's not a very good game. Like, it's so fundamentally juvenile what he's doing. So November is right around the corner, folks. You know what you got to do.
There it is.
All right. So we're pretty much here at the end of the show. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and give our final sign-offs for the evening. So let's start with Ricardo. Ricardo, final sign-off, sir.
Yes, sir. So we found out that I'm the uppity Negro and I'm blackity black. Black. I identify as black. I'm the DEI black, and I'm proud to be black. And it's stoked in ethnicity and nationality and all of that, all lives matter crap in one. So MD, it's both nationalistic and ethnical and I said ethnical. I'm all right. I'm trolling you right now. But no, it was a great show. I wish Yang and crew could have been here, especially Seduction Doll, because she had brought up some point that immigrants were coming into this country and stealing intellectual properties. And I was like, which intellectual properties are we stealing from y'all? But I digress, because that point was just very crazy. And then she wanted to go on and on about someone I typed into the chat. But that's, I don't know if we ever do another segment again about the politics of Black 4, and we invite them, they could come on and explain their position more, maybe they'll be able to emphasize some points that he brought up during that show. But all in all, great show. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Great to have Mr. Straight Talk on the show. He loves a good argumentative segment. Twin Mirrors is not here tonight, for whatever reason, but he's still part of the show, Mike. Mr. What did they call him last night? Mr. Shouting Man.
Shouting Man.
Yeah, everybody thought he was shouting. And I look forward to what the show brings, because every week there's going to be something new. I'm bummed out, MD, that there's not going to be another presidential debate based on what Trump says. I agree with you that Kamala should do a debate by herself if he doesn't choose to do the third one, and just let them ask her questions and she just answer them one off just like that and go from there. But great show. Looking forward to other TFPs, and let's see what happens going into the weeks.
All right. So thank you, Ricardo. MD, what's your final sign off, sir?
Yes, sir. Great show as always, man. Hey, look, black is what you make it. That's the definition. Black is not inclusive to any group because it wasn't supposed to be that way in the beginning. It wasn't created by us. We used it as an identifier to a lost people. That's just a whole fact. The social concept that was created through blackness should not be inclusive to all black people. It should be inclusive from the cultural experience that you have. And that can be from anybody. That's just a fact. The same go for white. So, that's my take on it at the end of the day. I can't take your blackness away from you. I just can't do that. I don't have the ability to do that. So, just keep that in mind. Hell, I may say that you ain't black, but to hell with what I say. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. A lot of news going on this week, y'all. A lot of news. The fact that we didn't talk about Diddy tonight is baffling to me. I could have swore how Venkat talked about Diddy the last time, and he didn't bring it up tonight.
Because of the way you acted when I brought up the last time.
Right.
You act like you didn't want to hear about Diddy. So I'm like, you know what? We just going to freestyle through the show, and if it comes up, it comes up. Nobody brought it up.
But
Nobody brought
No, Diddy my road, y'all.
It's over? Is it over?
It's over. Yeah, he might as well plead guilty, because it's not going to look good for him.
Jeff. So a lot of news going on. Like I said, man, the Israel thing happened today. They blew up a whole bunch of Hezbollah people with pages nonetheless. I didn't even know pages were still getting made. But apparently,
wow,
Hezbollah was having pages, and somehow Israel rigged them to blow up. It was like over 3,000 explosions. It's page explosions. So, that happened today. So we're going to have to wait and see what Hezbollah do. This tit for tat with Israel and Hezbollah and Iran is getting old. Something needs to happen.
But Iran hasn't answered yet, and that's what we're waiting on.
Yeah, a deal need to get done as soon as possible because they just gonna keep capitulating and at the same time people are dying. So they need to handle that. I lied though, Venkat. Next week will be the start of a new segment on TFP. It's called MD's Downfall.
It's what?
MD's Downfall is what I'm gonna call it.
MD's Downfall?
And it's not gonna be the reparations thing. I had already started a video like a couple of days ago. It's we Jill Stein. I don't know if no one ever heard the news of Jill Stein, but she's went batshit crazy. We're gonna be talking about her.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for the new segment on TFP MD's Downfall. And with that, I'm gonna say peace.
All right. Thank you, MD. Oh, just like to say thanks for everyone for tuning in today. Of course, the regulars like Bones, Tequila. It was great to have Mr. Straight Talk on the panel today. Mr. Yelling Man wasn't here, but he's always here in spirit. Of course, we got our other panelists, MD20. We got Ricardo. I'd like to thank Cliff on the panel. I mean on the chat. We had Matua EPH6V10-18. Oh man. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody watching. I'd like to thank Yanga for allowing us to use the footage and talking about the topics here. We appreciate that. A friend of the show, friend of the channel, Yanga. Check out Yanga at Yanga Words. Of course, MD, the Thought Box Live. Check that out.
Yep. I'll be doing a follow-up on Thursday. We're gonna continue this conversation.
Okay.
And Jesse, I want your house. Hopefully, Yang will be in the house.
That would be good.
And I'm of course it's pulled up. But we're gonna get down.
That would be good. Also peace to Jeremy and everyone tune in this Thursday. You got MD Thoughtbox Live, of course, on the Straight Talk Society. They usually have a Bible debate on Thursdays. Check with the channel for more updates on that. Tomorrow, Wrestling with Reality, and we're gonna talk about Bret Hart's WCW run. Trevor's got it all set up, and he's looking to give a C+ demonstration of Bret Hart's career in WCW. So that's tomorrow at 6:05 on the Straight Talk with Trevor channel. And for everyone else here at Straight Talk Society, peace, and we'll see you next week. Everyone have a good night.
Peace.
Peace on out.
She just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's That's terrible. Terrible.